Yeah.
Except, who's going to sell this house we're living in now?
Nick and Ellie Glidewell. nickandellie.com. Equal housing opportunity, Sagely and Edwards Realtors.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Tonight, mainly clear skies. North overnight lows in the upper 60s. We'll see a chance of some evening showers and thunderstorms across the south. Will drop to near 70. We'll see some showers and scattered thunderstorms on Thursday. A high middle to upper 80s, and another chance of showers and storms Friday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Come Get You Some, Arkansas's premier off-road superstore. Call 782-MUD today.
Exclusions apply.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 35 days.
Well, there are going to be a lot of sports with some big conversations coming up. As Yahoo Sports reporter Ross Dellinger says, millions of dollars of new college sports scholarships are on their way. He says the NCAA is set to increase roster sizes. Dellinger reports that sport-by-sport scholarship restrictions would be gone, and universities could offer scholarships to the entire roster. Big changes for football, baseball, and softball at the top.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Good morning, gentlemen. Let me rephrase that. You got two gentlemen. You got one ain't earned it yet, has he?
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
It's
You know, I am excited to talk about that this morning. Apparently, according to Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports, it was decided on Tuesday by Power 5 conference commissioners. We will touch on that coming up. Maybe you're jumping in with us this morning here at 6:01 and saying, the heck are you talking about? I'll do my best to explain that report from Ross and how it's going to affect not just college football, but college sports overall. It is a Too Stupid Thursday, and we've got a few stupid stories to get into this morning. And then I have one that I don't think is stupid, but you might find kind of stupid this morning.
All right, that's where we begin today. We're brought to you by our friends at the Inn at the Mill. It's the place Ty and I stay. We need to stay in Northwest Arkansas. If you're coming from Harrison or Hot Springs, Mena, Clarksville, you're coming to the UAB game, you know, in just, let's see, that'd be a month and a half or so, mid-September. Then you need to, you know, start making your reservations now for Tennessee and LSU. You know, look at that basketball schedule. The Inn at the Mill is conveniently located just off the Johnson exit, off I-49. That's exit 69. We love staying there. Big, oversized rooms, historic property with the old mill that's still there. Really neat. Great breakfast to start your day. And you're 10 minutes from campus, just a few minutes away from Crystal Bridges, the AMP, the shopping in Benton County. I mean, just the everything you're centrally located right in the heart of. 479-443-1800. Or Ty, you can book online at inatthemill.com.
Let's doing some math real quick.
Yeah, I can see your eyes rolling.
It's 51 days, right? 35 days. It's 35 days till UAPB.
I was told there'd be no math before 7.
35 days till UAPB. I think making it 44 days till Oklahoma State. Add another 7, 51. I believe that's correct. Somebody can double check me on that. All right. Forewarning, there might be some backlash with what I'm about to say. I told you about the steak diet that I'm going on till the season. By the way, I've already
the steak diet.
The non.
You're not really doing a carnivore or keto diet. You're just
eating steak at night. I've already broken the not eating pig diet. By the way, I had bacon on a cheeseburger at Hardee's earlier this week, so that's already been eliminated.
All right.
But
no discipline.
I typically don't eat steak for the most part. That's just not something I consume often. But I'm like, all right, I see people talking about how good it is for you to just eat more meat. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to eat this and nothing else. So during dinner, I just eat steak. I did it in an odd way. I threw it in the air fryer. You ever done that?
No, but I've heard it's good. Now,
Awesome.
I wouldn't do a great, if I spend money on a good cut of meat, I don't think I'd do it that way.
It was
I'm interested to hear how this turned out and how you did it.
It was a Walmart ribeye steak. I think it was like $8 or $9.
Perfect.
By the way, I'm only
Perfect
shopping.
candidate for experimenting.
I'm only shopping at Walmart now until the Waltons invest in NIL within the football program.
You're doing what?
I'm only shopping at Walmart now.
Isn't that backwards? You would boycott until they put money in?
No, because I want to show them some respect that, like, I'm trying to help you out now. He can help us out, right? That's how it works generally.
Kind of backwards
logic. Thinking. Well, I think backwards.
I don't think your $8 purchase is going to make a difference.
Either way, again, it wasn't just this $50 piece of meat or anything. It's just a solid $8, $9 ribeye steak. I haven't used an air fryer in 4 years. I just threw it in there, didn't season it or anything, turned it on.
No salt, no pepper,
nope.
Nothing?
Threw it in there straight up, 18 minutes, which was a little long. And pulled it out, and it was
you
charred.
You didn't flip it or anything in between?
At 6 minutes, I lifted it out, flipped it, and pulled it out. It was charred. And the odd thing is, again, I poured some, again, it's a reminder, this is not an expensive piece of meat.
Hang on, what temperature did you put this in at?
390.
Okay.
That's what it said to do.
Okay.
It was just a little longer. I like my steaks cooked a little more long than most people do. And had some Clampett's spicy barbecue sauce, and that's what it was really good. And I think I'm going to do this for like until football season. Just every night during the week, steak, little Clampett's spicy barbecue sauce. Good to go.
Do you have a grill? I mean, do you have any kind of outdoor cooking apparatus?
No, I have a pancake griddle, but not a grill. That you plug up, and it's like
pancake griddle that you plug. What do you mean you plug up?
Like it's not a big old Blackstone, but it's the concept of a Blackstone. It's just a flat
indoor or outdoor.
Indoor.
Okay, so you don't have any cooking.
No.
Wait, all right. We need to get you an outdoor cooking apparatus.
I don't know. The air fryer came with the house. I haven't used one.
Now that's a weird add-on.
I haven't used it in a couple years. It's awesome. I'm addicted to it after one night. I can't wait to throw stuff in there.
When we bought our air fryer, we went to Sam's and bought all the stuff in the freezer. Egg rolls, corn dogs.
You said it tastes really good.
And next thing I know, I'm up about 8 pounds because you say, "Oh well, I'm not frying it." Well, you're eating fried food that's been frozen that you're heating up. That's all the air fryer is a countertop oven. That's all it is.
Okay,
it's a countertop convection oven.
It looks cool and doesn't sound
perfect for a single man.
I'm going to be honest. I thought you would come and just eviscerate me based on that.
No. Now, if you'd went to Richard's Country Meat Market or something and bought you a $40 steak
and then did it that way,
a nice thick bone-in ribeye, and you did that, I would chastise you. But no, I was interested. Now I am a little disappointed to hear because when we went out and had steak before, I've never heard you order it well done, and that's something we're going to need to discuss in the break. I don't know if your employment can continue if we're going to cook all the juiciness out of a steak. Big C, you might need to be ready to move over to the other chair because I'm not sure I can work with a man that likes his steak charred, well done, overcooked.
That's one thing I haven't tried in my air fryer yet, is steak.
Well, give it a whack.
Do
it's
that.
Good.
I've heard you're not the first report of a good outcome on
there was juice, and what I did is I threw it on the plate, and then there's juice still in the air fryer thing.
Well, I mean, you go to a Ruth Chris or a Doe's or what I would call a good steakhouse around here, high-end type place. How do you think they cook your steak?
I don't know. This is your
You don't
expertise.
know the answer?
No, I really don't.
That is, they took in a high-temp oven.
Okay.
I mean, that's how it's done. So I think the best way to cook a steak is you sear it, and then you put it in a cast iron skillet with butter and garlic and whatever, and you throw it in a high-temp oven. That's essentially what you did. Now, the one thing I would encourage you to alter in your process is I would season that thing before I put it in there and maybe put a little butter coating on it.
Okay. Well, butter after or before?
Probably a little bit before.
Okay.
Just to crispen it up.
I don't know. I've just seen reports.
You don't need a lot of spice, just salt and pepper.
Okay. I'm still doing the one meal a day thing during the week, and just because I feel better doing that, but I've switched it over from basically Chipotle to steak. So it's just going to be steak. I don't eat any vegetables, anything else with it. It's solely steak.
Eric in Greenwood's with me. He says, I'm not sure I can listen to a guy who eats a steak well done. I'm with you, Eric. I'm not sure working marriage here can
Well,
continue.
it's been
you
a fun.
also, did you put ketchup on the steak like you? I know you said you put clampets, but you have admitted to putting ketchup on your steak before.
I'll never do that.
Just the barbecue sauce. It was good.
Extend this man's contract.
Solid combination. I will not. I will 100% thank Joey for that addition to my fridge. There's
out of the 903 hot wings in the air fryer. I have not done that.
I've done that just
for a
yet.
single man. That would work because
I would do that.
I'm cooking for 4. You're cooking for 1.
There are 4 things in my fridge: 2 things of barbecue sauce and 2 things of bourbon, and that's it. That's the only thing in my fridge right now.
Sounds like I need a key to the house.
That's the only thing.
Sounds like I need to be invited over to get away from my crew.
I got a
pool house, by the way.
The quote unquote air quote pool
Why don't we
house.
split that? We'll have a place to hide out, Christian. I mean, you'll split that.
Bunch of married men have already tried to
Exactly.
to rent it out. All right, we got more than
We'll
more.
get a group together. We'll have a hideout.
Yeah. All right, Hog Update is coming your way next.
Just say, Alexa, play ESPN Arkansas.
ESPN Arkansas from TuneIn.
This is former Razorback kicker Zach Hawker. You're listening to the Morning Rush.
Hair sunburn, stare at them white cats rolling over.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
This is the Morning Rush.
Touchdown, Arkansas! Road Chevrolet with Grant Neal. Grant, let's talk service.
Well, service is really our number one thing. Obviously, we're a car dealer. We sell cars, but service is where we see our customers the most. So right now, the service department's running a $49.95 AC diagnostic special right now. So if your air conditioner's not working, just bring it in, let us look at it. Worst case scenario, you're just going to be out to $49.95 for us to tell you exactly what's wrong with it. But we have a full team of technicians here that can work on all makes and models. And we know that it's not the right time of year to have your AC out. So please come see us if you have any issues with your vehicle.
Now, Rhodes has been here a long, long time, and there's a reason for that.
So, I mean, it's our 90th year in business this year, and we're all very excited about that. I'd like to think that it's because we really care about our customers, not just to sell you a car, but to be your car dealer for life. We want to develop a relationship with you, and that doesn't have to start with purchasing a car. If you've got a question, if you've got a problem, we really care about the people here in Crawford County, Sebastian County, and we want to be your car dealer for life.
Make a new friend or come see an old one today at Road Chevrolet, 2800 Alma Highway, Van Buren.
The best Tex-Mex and even better service is at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. Every Friday is Fajita Friday, featuring their charbroiled steak and chicken. It's tender, full of flavor, and comes with all the fixings. Saturdays are for endless enchiladas with Joe's homemade enchilada sauce and all the beef, chicken, or cheese enchiladas you can eat. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Come get you some. 2728 Townsend Avenue is your off-road and performance center headquarters. They've got everything from lift kits, wheels, LED light bars, UTV parts and accessories, winches and tires. Need general 4x4 repair? No problem. Come get you some has one of the largest 4x4 shops in the States. They do it all, from installing a bug shield to building some of the baddest off-road machines in the country. Call them today at 782-6833. That's 782-MUD. Or check them out online at cgysoffroad.com. Come get you some.
Here's to you and yours from the friendly folks at In Good Spirits, your upscale liquor store in Fort Smith. At In Good Spirits, they've got what your taste buds are craving, including flavorful wines from around the world, scrumptious brandies and liqueurs, tempting whiskeys and beers, and fine cigars. Treat yourself to the best as you listen to the game. Check out In Good Spirits, 12100 Highway 71 South, across from Riley Farms in Fort Smith.
The spring allergy and hay fever seasons are here, and Law's Drugstore has what you need to safely take care of you and your family. Law's Drugstore can fill and refill your prescriptions, and they have all of the over-the-counter allergy remedies to provide comfort. Call 452-6116 and ask about vaccine shot appointment for shingles, pneumonia, COVID, and whooping cough. Law's Drugstore, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind the Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
This is Chuck Fawcett with Chuck Fawcett Realty. When I have an HVAC problem or a plumbing problem, I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940. Blaylock Heating and Air.
So to have a red truck rolling your way today, give us a call. That's Blaylock Heating and Air Conditioning for all of your heating, cooling, plumbing, and drain cleaning needs, and great York Home products. It's just one number you need to know. That's 782-8940.
Calling all biscuit lovers. Hardee's limited edition blueberry biscuits are the stuff of biscuit dreams. Our famous buttermilk biscuits with summer's favorite berries baked in, served warm, and drizzled with icing. Don't miss your chance to try this special summertime treat while blueberry biscuits are still in season and ripe for the picking. Only at Hardee's. Goodness in the making. Order ahead on the Hardee's app. Participation may vary. Exclusions apply by time of day.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
First of all, I really don't give a flying flip about what people in Kentucky think. They're like Texas fans to me. Let them rot in hell.
All your favorite podcasts in one place. The Hit That Line Podcast Network. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
35 days. That's how far we are from Arkansas football. Colt's done a great job with these Arkansas football highlights to get you ready for the upcoming season. Hopefully there'll be some tail end highlights and other stuff. We've got some Hog news to share. We had Connor Nolan on yesterday. He was really good. Got to go back to some Landon Jackson stuff as well. Plus, plenty of text to get to in regards to the last conversation we had about the air fryer. There's about 10 or 15 we got to comb through this morning.
We got another question for you. Hong Kong Suey wants to know why you have your bourbon in the fridge. And I'm a little interested in this answer as well. Bourbon in the fridge. I don't know anyone that puts bourbon, refrigerates their bourbon.
I don't have a
vodka, vodka in the freezer.
I don't have a good answer for you, to be honest. I really don't. I don't. When it comes to nice,
I didn't know there was some kind of preference or what kind of bourbon are we talking here?
I don't know. It was a nice bottle. Again, this is not my expertise.
Well, what's the brand name?
I couldn't tell you. It's just a nice brand. I mean, Jeff at Weichert gave me one, and then Heath at State Farm gave me one. Both after we.
So it's probably Makers or
They're both nice.
Angel's Envy, something.
Angel's Envy.
That's a good bourbon.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't. That's not my expertise.
I
but
doubt
they're both in the fridge.
If I go over there and I find out he's got Pappy in the fridge, I'm gonna come unglued. So
is that good?
Write
or bad?
you up.
It's Fireball.
Now that belongs in the fridge. Well, the freezer. Freezer.
Fireball's fantastic. Good
Good
old Fireball Dr. Pepper.
Hey, it's summertime in Arkansas. That means pond and creek fishing, and nothing catches bass and bluegill in a pond like a Rebel Crick Hopper. You can twitch it, pop it, walk it, swim it. I mean, you can work this any way you want. It's the ultralight fishing lure that looks and acts like a real grasshopper. In fact, the Crick Hopper works great in tandem with a light spinning rod. Bruce says use 4 or 6 pound test line on there, and it will work great for you and your kids. Find it at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores everywhere. It's the Rebel Crick Hopper.
Jeff says it's probably Heaven Hill. Ty does drink White Claw, disappointed sports fan. Woodford Reserve Bourbon is really good, according to Joe and Fairgrove. And then chilled bourbon is good for shooting, according to Dennis and Springdale. Again, I don't know. I had given it.
Do you even drink bourbon?
No, it's probably going to sit in my fridge until I have a get together of sorts.
Bring it over here. I'll help you.
Okay.
Let me show you how.
Just one step at a time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, some hog news. We had Connor on yesterday, Connor Nolan. He was really good, and it was interesting to hear him talk about a couple things, including guys that just got drafted, like Hagen Smith, Peyton Stovall, Ben McLaughlin, and others, and what it's going to be like for them in the next few weeks and next few months.
I think that the biggest thing that's different is you just take your lumps and bruises and keep moving. I mean, there's so many opportunities to move up, to advance, and you never know when your time's going to come or that thing flips and your bad season goes to a great season. So I think if you just keep your nose down and you keep working, there's going to be the bad days, there's going to be good days. And if you just kind of stay in the middle and never get too high or too low, I think that's the key of having success.
Because it's not always going to go according to plan. Paul Skeens is the anomaly. He's the exception of the rule. He's not the rule of thumb. It's not typical to see a pitcher or any player for that matter expedite his process to the big leagues according to that. You hope for Hagen Smith and Peyton Stovall that they get there and others get there as soon as they possibly can. But I mean, you mentioned that Connor's even ahead of schedule, and he's 2 years into this thing. I mean, he's in the AAA affiliate, and who knows? The Cubs could call him up by the end of the season. We'll just have to wait and see.
What is the schedule? I don't think there is hey, you should be, at this mile marker in your pro baseball career at these points. I mean, you have hopes, but, every position and every prospect's different. I would say he is ahead of schedule, and Clay said this yesterday, and he has a better feel. I'll be interested to hear what Chuck thinks here in a few minutes. 4 or 5 good starts at the AAA level, and you probably get a chance as they expand rosters because the Cubs' playoff hopes are not real strong right now.
Yeah.
In fact, they're almost dead. So let some young guys have some starts. Now, you got to be careful because you don't want to crush confidence, but, Chuck will have a better feel for this because he's seen it more times. But it wouldn't surprise me if the outings go well in the AAA at Des Moines.
And one's already gone well. He already had a good showing already.
4 or 5 more, and maybe he gets a shot in September somewhere. Well, not somewhere, Wrigley Field.
Yeah, Wrigley Field specifically. By the way, Jeff, who was listening this morning, he said what he bought is a heck of a lot better than Maker's Mark. So it's good. I just don't know
Ask
the brand.
him Jeff, what brand?
Yeah. Sorry, that's not my skill set or expertise when it comes to bourbon. A couple other hog notes and tidbits for you this morning.
Jeff's a good guy. I know Jeff.
Yeah, congrats to John Daly Jr., who's qualified for the 2024 U.S. Amateur. It is in Minnesota. So like I said, the Amateur. It's in Minnesota at the Hazeltine Golf Club. I know that his dad was happy about that. You played there?
I think it's Hazeltine, maybe.
Hazeltine?
But
Okay.
I'll accept either pronunciation.
Hazeltine.
They've had majors. I mean, it'd be equivalent in our area to Southern Hills, something that's hosted multiple majors. So, yeah.
Other stuff, saw Dre Greenlaw was in the NFL Top 100 at 76. I hate that we're probably not going to see him this year because he's rehabbing that Achilles, but excited for Dre and what he could do future. Did you also see that report? Bill Belichick was offered the San Fran D.C. job. Did you guys see that? And he turned it down. Kyle Shanahan was just going to let him do whatever he wants, and he still turned it down. Apparently, his 23-year-old girlfriend Morgan Hudson was.
The water's cold up there. The beaches aren't great.
It's San Fran. I still can't believe I almost went to San Francisco with nothing but shorts and polos. It was cold that weekend too. That would have been tough.
See how I look out for you?
You do. I don't say otherwise. Other basketball.
Gotta get that bourbon out of the fridge though.
Yes. He has not text back what it is. Hopefully he does soon. Jasper Johnson, class of 2025 kid, ATL. 2025 or hopefully future Arkansas basketball player, has listed Arkansas within his top 5. And then according to Rocco Miller, who we've had on this program before, covers college basketball, a lot of scheduling. You're going to play North Carolina A&T on December 21st in Bud Walton Arena. So another addition, a reported addition to your basketball schedule.
All right, opening ceremonies for the Olympics are what, Friday? I know the Olympics this weekend is when a lot of events get underway. If you go to the Bet Saracen app right now, the first thing you're going to see is it says Paris 2024 Olympics right there, big at the top. You can click on that and see all of the things that you can get. Nations with most medals, nations with most gold medals. USA right now at minus 650. So if you love the Olympics, you love some of those different events and sports, go to Bet Saracen and have even more fun with it. Download the Bet Saracen app in the Google Play or Apple Store.
All right, when we return, Chuck joins us next.
Listen online at hitthatline.com.
Thanks, Ty. Tommy. Enjoy your show.
You're listening to The Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is The Morning Rush.
Great to be on here with you guys. I think you guys do awesome work, and I really enjoy listening to you.
Hi, everybody. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news. Backed by popular demand, state sales tax paid when you trade on our huge inventory of road-ready certified vehicles. That's right. This month, get the best used car your money can buy, road-ready certified with warranty, and get your state sales tax paid when you trade. One more reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Are you ready to indulge in an unforgettable fine dining experience? Then come join us at Uncorked, where every meal is a masterpiece, crafted with the finest ingredients to tantalize your taste buds. And with our extensive selection of cocktails, wine, craft beer, and bourbons, we've got something for everyone. So why not take a break from the ordinary and join us on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodi's? Come savor the moment with us at Uncorked, where every visit is a celebration.
Summertime in Arkansas means pond and creek fishing, and nothing catches bass and bluegill in a pond like a Rebel crickhopper. You can twitch it, pop it, walk it, and swim it. It's the ultralight fishing lure that looks and acts like a real grasshopper. The crickhopper works great in tandem with light spinning rods and reels with 4 or 6 pound fishing line. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. The Rebel crickhopper.
Whether it's torque, horsepower, or just extreme work, diesel trucks do their job. But when your diesel truck needs maintenance or repair, it's time to head to Extreme Diesel. Everything from standard maintenance to extreme repairs, including injector testing. Extreme Diesel delivers. They have the tools and service for your Cummins, Duramax, or Power Stroke. You trust your truck to deliver on your needs, and you can trust your truck at Extreme Diesel, 6630 Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma. Check them out on Facebook or give them a call at 651-3363. They're bilingual, now offering CP4 solutions for both Chevy and Ford.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing, and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Are you tired of processed meat and flimsy sandwiches? Subchain's gotten to your last nerve? Then I have the place for you. Come see my buddy Josefa at Lily's Sandwich Shop in the Bakery District in downtown Fort Smith. Locally sourced meat sliced daily and fresh breads from Harvest Moon Bakery. Daily specials announced on Facebook, including the Poke Bowl every Friday and Saturday. For to-go orders, call 479-567-3403.
My name is Lily. My papa makes the best sandwiches at Lily's Sandwich Shop. Come by and see him at the Bakery District today.
If you knew all the Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything. Service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials. tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSAuto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
1, 2, 3.
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
When you looked at the offense last year, there were times that it looked as though it was in disarray. I've never seen one of Petrino's offenses look like they were in disarray. It's not going to be perfect every time, but they're always going to look like they've been coached. There were points last year offensively where I just thought everybody was on a different page. I'm not saying they're going to score 40 a game, but you're going to know they've been coached.
All right, we welcome you back into the Morning Rush on a Too Stupid Thursday. I know that some people dealt with technology issues at the end of last week, particularly Microsoft related. We were having some fun with that. Well, Crowdsource is trying to make it right by offering something to their partners. I'm going to tell you that what it is coming up. It kind of falls in line here on a Too Stupid Thursday.
Brought to you by APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group. Immediate openings in Northwest and North Central Arkansas. So if you're listening in the Harrison Mountain Home area or anywhere around there, Northwest Arkansas, and anywhere in the Northwest Arkansas corner of our state, immediate openings right now for licensed CDL drivers, electricians, diesel mechanics, people with quarry experience. If you've worked in a quarry, they've got opportunities right now. Road construction, if you've got experience there, or you're a heavy equipment operator, they've got jobs available right now. Go to jobs.crh.com. That's jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola is an equal opportunity employer.
So, Chuck, I don't know if you've seen this, but Crowdsource, again, the company that is supposedly responsible for what happened at the tail end of last week, is offering a whole $10 Uber Eats card to each of their partners, according to TechCrunch, for the mishap that was the end of last week. Man, they're really trying to make it right, aren't
That'll
they?
fix it.
Well, that's it's not much for the individual. I'm sure it's a lot for them to pay for. That's a lot of $10, but it's not much of a consolation prize if you were offline all morning.
No, that's
man, I've read about people that were stuck in the airport for a day or two.
Yeah.
You know.
It was really bad.
I think that's it's about as dumb as it gets, but I get to each their own on restitution, and that's apparently the way they are going about it this morning.
Just switching gears a little bit, and this name won't mean you may be familiar with the name. Chuck will recognize this name immediately, but for those that have been around high school athletics anytime over the last 50 or 60 years will know the name Jim Rowland. He was the athletic director at Fort Smith for years, coached there. You're in Northwest Arkansas. You interacted with him. He passed away last night. One of the true giants in Arkansas high school athletics. And for those in the Fort Smith community would know that name real well. But thoughts with his family as got word last night about his passing. So big into FCA, and Chuck, one of the legends, and they named the stadium at Southside after him a few years back.
Yeah, Jim Rowland's kind of been synonymous with Fort Smith high school athletics. You know, you can't think of one without the other. Not just high school, but just, youth sports. And, a life well lived.
Yeah, he my dad's been gone for 9 years, and he coached my dad. That's how far back his career went. He coached my dad at Kimmons Junior High, one of his first jobs. My dad was one of his first students. So his involvement went back all the way to the 60s. He retired a handful of years ago. Been probably time gets away, probably closer to 8 or 10 at this point. But one of the good guys. So thoughts and condolences on the passing of Jim Rowland.
Well, speaking of athletics, as we're talking high school there, college-wise, sure sounds like we're on mighty change. There's been a lot of changes these last couple years between the NIL, transfer portal, and for those that haven't heard or maybe read Ross Dellinger's recent report at Yahoo Sports, according to him, the Power 5 conferences have finalized new scholarship changes for rosters. Football is going to move from 85 to 105. Now, again, it's been 105, but scholarship-wise, you're adding 20 scholarships to the roster. Basketball's adding 2 from 13 to 15. Baseball's adding 22.3 from 11.7 to 34. Softball is adding 13, and then volleyball is adding 6. Some of these,
if I've done the math right, that's just short of 70.
Mm-hmm. Some of these rosters, like football and basketball, are head count scholarship, which means that you have to give out full scholarships. The others can be spread across each player. Guys, again, Power 5, they want to push this. They have the money to back this up. But as you and I were speaking before the show, Tommy, this is going to heavily affect mid-majors and continue to create that gap that gets wider and wider by day.
Chuck, I think it even affects the power schools like Arkansas. Now you're talking about funding close to 70 additional scholarships. So now we're talking, we did just a conservative estimate. What's the cost to the athletic department? Conservatively at $30,000, and it's probably a lot more than that, would be $2.2 million. So I don't know what that number is that's not already involved for those additional scholarships, but you're talking $3 to $4 million that now has to fit in the budget if this goes through.
Well, I think one of the things you have to realize when you see those numbers is you're not required to do that.
Correct.
You just can if you got the money.
Yeah.
And so there aren't going to be all that many that have the money. Schools like the SEC and the Big Ten and the big conferences, they'll have the money to do it, although this stuff doesn't fall out of the sky the way people think.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth of the matter is you're going to get into some situations, and you already do to a certain extent, but I suspect it'll be even more so. You're going to be offering full scholarships to a lot of kids that never see the field. Now, you'll offer some to some that, do so well for you. It's a bargain, but it's an interesting time. This is almost anticlimactic. I can remember when, we would just clamor for full scholarships in baseball. Now you're going from 11.5 to 34. But with NIL and with the fact that the players are already being compensated, this, again, it just almost seems anticlimactic. But there's going to be a lot more kids on scholarship. And for those kids, that's awfully good.
I just trust and assume, and that's all I can do because I don't, this is out of my lane, that all of this will meet the Title IX criteria. Are there enough? I mean, is there enough offset? I know football is kind of out of that equation, but I assume I'd assume there will be challenges to that from a Title IX standpoint. And B, I feel like, probably the smart guys in the room like Greg Sankey and his counterparts have put them in a defensible position to make sure that those challenges are covered. But I know this, when they've went to the courtroom lately, it hadn't went the NCAA's way. So I don't know where this would stand with Title IX, and that would be a question I'd have, and I don't have the answer.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how all this plays out. I find it difficult to believe that they would not be putting, that they would put forth this legislation without having crossed some dotted some I's and crossed some T's.
Well, it sounds.
But I've learned when you assume things, you.
Yeah, but I would imagine that in some form or fashion that is being dealt with or has been dealt with, and you're talking about a lot of softball scholarships. You're talking about a lot of volleyball scholarships. I don't know what the formula is going to be.
And again, I'm not going to pretend to know the law, but who's not going to be on scholarship? How's it not fair? Because essentially you provided everyone a full, a full cost seat at the table, from an athlete standpoint.
Yeah, and with the scholarships, Initially, I thought, well, this is going to be a huge bonus for high school kids, but I just think that the transfer portal is going to be utilized even more with where things are going with the additional scholarships. I could be wrong about that, but I think that the additional 20 scholarships, you'll probably have 15 of those, I would say, if not more, go to transfer portal kids right in high school. It's going to be heavily transfer portal.
Well, here's the thing, guys. Yes, this is a significant development, but it's not as significant as NIL. It's not as significant as revenue sharing.
Agree.
Players are, the guys that are moving around, they're not moving around to get on scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
They're moving around for NIL money, and they're going to be moving around for more revenue share when that comes into play. So I hear what you're saying, and I do think there was a time when this would have made the earth move. But I think other things have made the earth move in advance of this, just to be real blunt.
No, you're exactly right. And we've already seen this to a degree with what John Calipari has done with the tail end of his roster. I mean, he was real open and transparent about it. Hey, we're going to fill the last 2 or 3 spots here with essentially walk-ons, but they're going to get full scholarships. That's essentially what we're doing with this legislation. So, I mean, what Calipari told us 30 days ago or 40, whatever it's been now, a few weeks back, is exactly what now is going to be the level playing field for essentially every sport.
Joe and Harrison texted in this morning when you brought up NIL, Chuck. He said, how do players receive their NIL money? Is it paid out like a salary or one lump sum, or how does it work?
$20 bills.
Y'all tell me if this is wrong. I don't think anyone really knows outside of the deal makers and the actual players, right? I mean, there's been no...
Well, they go pick up their check. I mean, they go get their money. So, I mean, it's there. Some of them probably have different, pay periods or manner in which they're paid. Just like people that you work, people where you go to work. So
bi-monthly, Tommy.
I mean, they're getting their money.
Yeah, and I've read accounts and stories, and I'm not saying this is Arkansas situations, but where they pay them out on a inside the month basis, because in many cases they're still raising the money that they promised in an ongoing effort, meaning they don't have payroll covered for next month. All this money doesn't always get paid from the donors in lump sum either, so they've got to have the money to hand out the money. And the old term, I've got to cover payroll this week. They're learning some of those lessons around athletic departments, because I've read a few accounts of, hey, they had to call some boosters and call in some favors to cover payroll this week. Payroll meaning NIL.
But I don't think that's here. I want to emphasize that. We're talking about. I'm sure that does happen some places, but you're not talking about, what we would term the power schools.
Yeah. No, but I think even the power schools, when you're going out and asking for additional, you may not get that. You're going to get the money from the donor when the donor tells you you're getting the money, right? So, I mean, a lot of times when you're giving someone the kind of figures they're giving them, it isn't all in one lump sum at the beginning of the school year or whatever.
Chuck, you brought up an interesting point earlier about guys that won't necessarily play, or have guys on scholarship that won't play. And I think about 60s and a little bit of the 70s where not just Arkansas, but other schools had huge rosters. You had guys on the roster didn't play, and you basically tried to keep them at bay. So other schools, I would think there's like a Georgia or Ohio State, the schools that can afford to just keep guys on to keep them away from others. That's going to happen even more prevalent now than it has. And not to say
I don't think
people
so.
Still want to play.
I don't think so, Ty, because the players hold all the power now. Players have all the power now. Nobody's sticking around to do that. I hear what you're saying, and in a different era, you might be right. But I don't think that comes into play now.
No. They want to play, and B, they got options, and C, they're available without sitting a year. There's no restrictions, So at some point, this pendulum, it continues to swing wildly in one direction, Chuck. At some point, that pendulum's going to come back. Now, how far it comes back to the middle, I don't know. But how much more wildly can it swing out at this point?
Well, I used to think that, but I don't know that I do anymore. I used to think that the pendulum would swing back and that this would be self-correcting, but I'm not sure I believe that anymore. I don't see an end to it right now. I don't see an end to it right now. Now, there may be an end. There may be a crash. Who knows? And I hear people say that's going to happen. But I've been hearing that for a long time. It hasn't happened yet. So I question whether or not the NIL system long-term is sustainable. But I do think that there are other mechanisms that are being put in place right now to make sure these kids are all compensated.
And and I don't know, just common sense. And again, maybe applying common sense here doesn't.
I'm not sure it does apply here. I mean, I'm just going to be honest.
But hear what I'm saying. You know, we know that the economy in our country and around and globally has its ups and downs, its peaks and valleys. I mean, that's just reality. I've got to believe in a lot of households and a lot of corporate budgets, when the belt has to be tightened, NIL funding and this type of giving has to be one of the first things on the chopping block, I would think.
I don't agree with that. I think it's emotion. I think this is emotional spending and emotional giving. I hear what you're saying.
But you got to have to give it.
But evidently people do. Evidently people do.
Right now, I'm just saying when the economy's still pretty robust right now.
There's still plenty of people out there with plenty of money. Not everybody's broke.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think I hear you, and there was a time when I would wholeheartedly agree with you, but I'm not sure I do anymore, quite honestly.
Again, I said common sense may not apply to this equation.
There's no common sense in college sports, Tommy. You know
what would be because I agree there could be a crash, but what would cause it? Because this isn't a housing market. There isn't a bubble. There isn't an NIL bubble that's getting ready to burst. There's not basic economic principles that play here. There's not central banking involved and interest rates.
It would be
Let us state very clearly, none of us, myself included, none of us understand the inner workings of the financials of an athletic department. We don't. They're doing okay. I mean, they're doing all right. And the Power 5 schools are going to be they're going to be able to handle all this. And let's just be honest. The only time we talk about the mid-majors are when situations like this come up or when one of them pulls off an upset in the NCAA basketball tournament. It's just the truth. So this is going to make the gap wider, but everything that's happening in college sports right now is making the gap wider.
And I think college athletics have to move more to a model where they don't depend on external giving to be the majority of the funds they need to raise for NIL and funding this full student cost. And that's going to have to come through revenue sharing, enhanced TV contracts, higher season ticket sales, which you can say that's external. But I'm talking about external donations, people just simply writing a check and giving it so they can disperse it through the means we see now. They're going to have to rely less and less on that at times.
It sounds like according to Dellinger's report, that long-form agreement of the 3 antitrust settlements is going to be filed on Friday. So that would be another step in the direction of this thing getting finalized.
Here's the one thing that I think we should point out very clearly. This is not going to affect anything we watch on television. It's not going to affect the way we consume games. It's not going to affect the way we enjoy games.
May enhance it.
I don't really think it's going to have any effect. I think the things that have had the effect have already happened. NIL and what's coming with a revenue share. Again, this would be earth moving 10, 15 years ago. Quite honestly, now it's just another thing these guys have got to pay for. The one thing that I will say, I don't care how big your athletic department is, everybody right now is scrambling around. I won't say panic mode, but they're trying to figure out how to raise every dollar.
Trev Alberts, I guess, new A&M athletic director who was at Nebraska, I mean, they already got in front of this. They let go some people within the department. It's unfortunate, but it's probably going to happen. You will see, I would think, an announcement from the U of A sometimes within the next year or so that they're going to be staff.
I don't know if you get an announcement. It's just someo's not there no more. They had some early retirements during COVID. I mean, it's just you don't fill positions when they come open. It's just don't expect a press release that so and so is no longer with the department.
I think we're going to have to wait and see what the long-term financial effects are on this. I think these guys play in a financial stratosphere that most of us can't comprehend. I think there's, in other words, I'm saying I think the money's there. Now you got to go out and get it, but I think they'll be able to make this work.
Who came on the program, Tommy, that said we don't have a revenue problem, we have a spending problem? Or maybe it was someone that said that.
Well, people have been saying that for years and years and years, and you can probably apply that to just about every household in America.
Exactly.
I was gonna say I had one of my friends who's a wife that told her husband, who's also a friend, it's like we don't have a spending problem, we have a a salary problem is how she characterized it at.
We have an Amazon problem.
Yeah, we have an Amazon problem.
We have a cardboard problem in my house. There's too much cardboard on the doorstep every day.
Don't want to have to deal with that. That is something I don't have to do. All right, I've got a couple.
Stay single.
Yeah, I haven't spent much. I do have a couple stories with animals here on a Two Stupids Thursday that I'd like to share with you guys that I think you guys will both find entertaining.
Well, all right. You put yourself to clear a higher bar here, so we'll find out. First, let me tell you about Farm Credit. Do you want to spruce up your existing home or start from the ground up? Either way, check with Farm Credit of Western Arkansas before you get started and find out why for more than 100 years that Farm Credit of Western Arkansas has helped local families just like yours make their dream home come true. Visit myaglender.com, that's myaglender.com, or stop in any of their 25 locations today.
You guys want to hear about drunk seagulls or cocaine sharks first?
I want to know how the seagulls got drunk.
Okay. Well, apparently in the UK, there are ants that they've been eating, flying ants that have toxins in them that make them drunk. And what has happened across the United Kingdom is these seagulls are flying into windshields, flying all over the roads, just losing their whereabouts and flying altogether. So it has been a huge problem with traffic and whatnot. I mean, you're just driving to the grocery store or something, all of a sudden this seagull rams in your windshield and it causes a 4-car pileup because of these ants that they've been eating excessively because of how hot it's been lately.
I've heard about these seagulls getting or birds getting caught in like an airplane's engine midair and, create you a pretty big problem. So maybe they've been drunk the whole time.
I guess, but that's the issue. In terms of the cocaine.
Don't eat the ants.
Yeah, that's what can't really encourage a seagull to do that or not. In terms of the cocaine sharks, I feel like we have to play this. We talk about that. They were doing this study near Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, trying to figure out, honestly, where the drugs were coming from, and they're using the shark's whereabouts to trace it back to the drug cartels and
mafia. How did the shark get the drugs?
Based on it going into sewers, going into rivers, and certain areas that they would dump the drugs when they tried to refine the cocaine, and therefore the sharks have gotten infested with the cocaine and turned out into that. That's why they're
cocaine addicted sharks.
Cocaine addicted sharks, Chuck.
What was that movie, that stupid Cocaine Bear or something that came out? Do we need a sequel, Cocaine Shark?
Yeah, Cocaine Sharks.
Please tell me none of you guys saw Cocaine Bear.
I thought
I've not seen it.
I thought Ruskin and Zach saw it.
Well, exactly. That's my point,
I think they did. But yes, the cocaine sharks in Brazil and the drunk seagulls in the United Kingdom have been apparently issues for...
All I hear from you is stay in America. That's what I heard from you.
I'm with you on that. Let's see. Joe in Prairie Grove says, are these seagulls going home with the pigeons? No, Joe, they're honestly going in the roads and finding themselves dead and whatnot. I mean, birds, it's like when they fly into a window, they can't see anything. And, I mean, imagine trying to fly when you're intoxicated, and that's apparently what the seagulls are having to do.
Some have, and it didn't work out well.
It does not work out well. All right, Jimmy in Conway has phoned in this morning on the hotline. Jimmy, what's going on?
Top of the morning to you, fellas. I've got an analogy here for you. When it comes to football, and I'm the biggest Arkansas fan that I know, so I bleed Razorback red, but when it comes to football, Arkansas is in the SEC living in a neighborhood that they really can't afford. We're the neighbor down there that's got the grass that hasn't been sprayed for weeds, and it's, ankle high. We got a car over there at the side of the house, and, everybody else is manicured lawns, and it's just, trying to keep up with all these schools. It's just, we can't do it.
But you can't afford to leave either. That's the other thing. You can't afford to get out. Because where are you going to go to have any semblance of the financial structure you have now?
Absolutely. You're just going to be a bottom feeder and, reap the benefits. And football is just not going to be our forte. I mean, I'm just hopeful for every 10 years we have a pretty good season, which means 9 wins every 20 years. Maybe we have a miracle season. And that's just reality.
I'm a little more hopeful. Jimmy, thanks for the call.
You're just waiting on that rich uncle to pass away where you're in the will and you're going to change up the house and you're actually going to have the money to afford that neighborhood that you're speaking to. Don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon, but holding out for it. All right, we got hour 2 coming up in just a bit. Some of you have heard the UCLA head coach, Deshaun Foster, at Big Ten Media Days. It was quite an opening statement, pretty jaw-dropping. If you haven't, guarantee you want to stay tuned for it. It's coming up as we start hour number 2.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Work now, pay later with sizzling savings at WT Equipment. No money down, no interest, and no payments until 2025 on select New Holland equipment. Choose 0 for 60 or up to 10,000 cash back plus free net wrap on roll belt round balers. 0 for 72 or up to 10,000 cash back on mid-range tractors, or 0 for 72 plus an additional 2,000 cash back on a new compact. Work smarter with no money down, no interest, and no payments on your choice of the summer's hottest deals at WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group has immediate openings in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrician, diesel mechanic, have paving or concrete labor experience, or experience in a quarry, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits including insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer. Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This is the Morning Rush.
Walk-Ons is always a win, whether it's for a post-game celebration.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch, big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online. The game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar.
Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive in Queen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online. The game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar. Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive in Queen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
We're going to go to Big Ten Media Days, where UCLA head football coach Deshaun Foster had quite an opening statement. It's about 1 minute, and it's not the best, but we'll let you give your opinion on how it went coming up in just a bit.
Throwback Thursday today at Joe's Grill and Cantina. They'll bring back one of the old Cuco's platters from way back in the day, and they'll have that out today for you. You'll see it kind of on the chalkboard as you come in. You'll see that special. Tomorrow's Fajita Fridays. All of their fajitas are on special. Chicken, beef, the combo. Try that. It's down the menu a little bit, but the brisket fajitas are worth the order. So try those out. And you always get great service. I mean, it's great food, but even better service. The friendly people, they're always attentive. Your glass isn't going to go dry. Your basket of chips isn't going to run out. And they got great, fresh, house-made salsa that they make fresh every day. Joe's Grill and Cantina, South 74th Street, across from Harps in Fort Smith.
All right, just to set this up again, new UCLA head football coach, first time doing this, and again, didn't go great.
Coach Foster, welcome to the Big Ten. We'll begin with your opening statement.
How you guys doing? I'm happy to be here. Glad to be a part of this great conference. Finally putting two great emblems together, UCLA and the Big Ten. We're a school that's won, 123 championships, so this fits us being right in this conference. Football-wise, we're just excited. I'm sure you guys don't know too much about UCLA, but our football program, but we're in LA.
Thank you.
It's us and USC.
That's painful.
Somebody throw in the towel. Yeah. Throw in the towel. Stop this tie.
I'm just basically excited. That's it.
All right, fight's
Chuck,
over.
you've done plenty of public speeches. I've listened to them. I listened to Coach Pittman. I've listened to Chad Morris, Brett Bielema, and Houston Nutt. I mean, just Bobby Petrino, keep going down the list. Not all of them are A-plus material by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't know if I've heard one is
he sounded unprepared.
Yes.
So.
Stammered a little bit.
If you're the communications director of that school, I would think that's not in him, is it? Or is that?
Well, now let's not act like he's cornered the market on sounding dumb in front of a microphone. I mean, it happens every day, and he'll be judged on how many games he wins. But he didn't come across as terribly well spoken there, that's for sure.
I just remember the old adage: you get one chance to make a first impression, and I don't think the one he left at Big Ten Media Days it left a mark, not an impression. So. He just sounded like he froze up. I guess it'd be like, these amateur nights at the comedy club where you get up there and you think you got this killer bit in your head that you've rehearsed in your car and in the mirror, and you think this is gonna kill him. This is great. I bet he had his first 4 or 5 minutes worked out in his head, and he got up there and you gotta realize you're talking to a group of reporters, and it didn't go well, and he just locked up.
Not all of us have the gift of I've seen Chuck give a 20-minute speech like that. I have to have notes. I'm always a notes guy. I'm a hard copy notes guy. It's a gift some have. It's a gift I don't. I think, guys, he should have had some notes up there with him. It didn't look like he had them up there.
In his defense, you get up there, and I'm telling you, you can't see 2 inches in front of your face because of the lights.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And sometimes I can just tell you from experience, and I don't know, I'm not making excuses for him, but sometimes things are wrong internally. What you are hearing in terms of sound coming back to you can screw you up.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you when we do a lot of these Hall of Fame ceremonies and stuff, when we go over the program, the first thing I always say is, those lights are going to come up, and you're not going to be able to see 2 inches in front of your face, and everything you've thought about is going to leave your head. And you got to take a deep breath and bring it all back, because those lights are going to freak you out. I think the moment just kind of freaked him out.
It does help. For example, Tommy, we had a chance to catch up with Landon Jackson again for his second SEC Media Days. I could tell, I listened to him last year, and I listened to him this year. I thought he was bad last year, but there is a clear difference when you do it the second, third, or fourth time around. Landon in his second time.
Here's the thing. If Deshaun Foster goes out and has a good year, nobody's going to care. If he has a bad year, they're going to say, well, he wasn't even ready for media days. So that's just I suspect it'll be quickly forgotten.
Yeah,
Media days are like a 2-week phenomenon, and then practice starts and we move on.
Exactly. If it wasn't July 25th, it wouldn't even make the show today.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Well, Tommy, I know you had listened to Landon again, and we've talked about the close games aspect on this very program, and it sounds like to Landon it's been kind of the same message in the locker room and leading up to this season.
It starts back in January. Workouts, everything like that. You just got to execute, finish those. It's about all the little details. So really, in those tight games, we got to do all we can to prevent them from getting first downs. Really just dominate line of scrimmage, play as a unit, get the job done.
Now, we had Clay on yesterday, and in his column, he thinks that this has a chance to be Arkansas's best defense. I'm still a little wary of the linebacker situation. You've got experienced guys in the back end. You've got guys like Landon up front. Don't know about D-tackle just yet, but there are some positives, and that's the main key we keep coming back to.
You know what's going to help this defense more than anything? Putting some points on the board offensively.
Good point.
That's what'll help this defense.
Well, and an offense that's not going to, yes, but also an offense that's not going to go 3 and out a bunch or have, you'd love to have scoring drives that don't last long, but also it puts the defense right back out there. So I get an offense with some sustained drives. It will also help this defense.
That's why I say, until I'm blue in the face, your offensive line allows you to control the tempo of the game. It allows you, when you need to give your defense a breather, it allows you to do that. When you can run when you want, and when you can run, and you've got an opportunity sometimes to help your defense a little bit, you do that. But sometimes the best thing you can do for your defense is get out to a 7-0 lead. That's what I'd like to see.
It's kind of like when you go out and you're on the road in baseball and you stake your pitcher to a first inning lead. When you give your starting pitcher, 3 runs in the first inning, that puts them at ease. So it's similar to that. So need to do that. So, all right, we got more of the Morning Rush coming up. Your thoughts, you can text them to us, 877-377-6963, or you can give us a call as well. And if you haven't downloaded the Hit That Line Now app, do that. Makes the show easier to watch, easy to listen to, and you can take it anywhere you go, Ty.
Yep, and we've got our Morning Rush daily question when we come back. We've also going to go back to a little bit what Connor Nolan had to say yesterday. We enjoyed catching up with him, and more to get to on this scholarship situation within college sports, not just affecting football, but others with Tom Murphy as well. Stay with us here on a Too Stupid Thursday edition of the Morning Rush.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com. I love the show, guys. Listen to you every morning.
You're listening to the Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is the Morning Rush.
Child's Plains, touchdown.
Hey, folks, here at Road Chevrolet, 2800 Alma Highway in Van Buren, Crawford County's only new car dealer. I've got Grant Neal, general manager. Grant, man, what a great selection you guys have here at Road Chevrolet.
It's really awesome. We've been looking at trying to expand our inventory, and right now the selection's the best it's been in a long time. Full line of new light-duty trucks. Got I think over 10 heavy-duty trucks in stock, including the 3500 cabin chassis, as well as the extremely popular custom 2500 that everybody's in love with.
There have been times when some dealerships have charged over MSRP. What about here at Rhodes?
Well, no, I mean, we've never charged over MSRP through all the craziness we never did, and now we're even marking below MSRP.
And if you need financing, you can take care of that too.
Oh, absolutely. Robert Good, our finance director, is an absolute wizard at working the banks. GM Financial's offering rates as low as 1.9% for well-qualified buyers on select new Chevys, and we haven't seen rates that low in a very long time.
Come by today, 2800 Alma Highway, Van Buren Road, Chevrolet.
Calling all biscuit lovers. Hardee's limited edition blueberry biscuits are the stuff of biscuit dreams. Our famous buttermilk biscuits with summer's favorite berries baked in, served warm, and drizzled with icing. Don't miss your chance to try this special summertime treat while blueberry biscuits are still in season and ripe for the picking. Only at Hardee's. Goodness in the making. Order ahead on the Hardee's app. Participation may vary. Exclusions apply by time of day.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. You've got beer and football, nothing is hard, until the other team scores. Bud Light, Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Stop by the Golf Nut today and check out the full line of lab putters featuring Lie-Angle balanced technology. Lab putters were used by 14% of professionals in the 2024 Masters Tournament. All models of the new Scotty Cameron Phantom putters are in stock, including the longer 38-inch model. Come discover the biggest selection of name brand clubs, apparel, and accessories in the region. The Golf Nut, 5121 Towson Avenue, your #1 golf shop for over 30 years.
Dozy Place has now been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years. Celebrate your special birthday, holiday, person, or just because at Dozy Place. Start with delicious appetizers and your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Dozy Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended, so call 784-9111. 784-9111 for Dozy Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith. If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else. My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's. Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Morning Rush Daily Question.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess. I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
I want to go back to something that was discussed at the end of last hour, Ty. Jimmy called in and didn't sound like he was real hopeful for the coming season, that, you know, and particularly in football. And I think there's some interesting meat on the bone of this conversation. More and more conversations, particularly when it comes to football season, I find kind of going into this bucket that not hopeful that we have what it takes to compete. That's the Morning Rush Daily Question. Guys, is that where we're at now? Are y'all engaging a lot of those conversations with fans that feel like, you know, the expansion of this conference, the financial setup with NIL, everything you hear is Arkansas doesn't have the same money or is not able to raise the same money as other schools you feel like you're on the same tier with in this league? Is all hope lost with some in the fan base right now?
I don't think there's any question. I mean, Jimmy in Conway is not the only person that's called in. Chris in Fayetteville and others have held the belief that Arkansas's never going to win an SEC championship, not going to make it to Atlanta, not going to get to double-digit wins. And you're not in a great situation right now. I think it would be false to say otherwise, but I don't think that Arkansas is in such a hole where they can get out. They can't get out, I should say. But it is becoming more and more prominent by the day.
Yeah,
that belief, whether it's right or wrong.
Go ahead.
I just said whether it's right or wrong, you hear it more and more. It's more negative than it has been before.
Here's the thing that I wonder, and I don't really know, but I get the sense that there are probably many fan bases out there that wonder now, are we going to be able to compete? Are we going to be able to afford to run with the big dogs? Sometimes you just can't afford it. You do the best with what you got. I think there are fan bases out there that are looking at this and have genuine concern about whether or not they're going to be able to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. Now, those same fans, 20 minutes before kickoff, will have convinced themselves their team's going to win. But I do think that there are fan bases out there, and I think it's seeped into a lot of them, where, you know, when you really stop and you look at all the discussion about the playoff and all the discussion about, you know, NIL, really, we generally only talk about 15 or 20 teams. We really don't talk about all the possibilities the way we do, for example, in basketball. I think there's some realities out there that make football different. And I think sometimes fan bases are, and not just ours, but again, all across the country, I think they're just looking at it and wondering, what are we going to do here? Now, I don't know if that's hopelessness or not. I don't know if that answers your question. But I think there are people out there that just very simply wonder, can we afford to win?
Yeah, Chuck's on the money here because this is not a sentiment just held by Arkansas Razorback fans, and it's not just a sentiment held by you in the SEC. I mean, there are other. I guarantee the same conversation is being held in Starkville, Mississippi. It's been held in Vanderbilt for decades upon decades, and hadn't changed anytime soon. But for the likes of, like, we were talking about Auburn last week, and Brandon Marcel brought up an excellent point. Auburn has had one back-to-back double-digit win seasons in the history of their program. Their highs have been really high, but their lows have been really low. If you're an Auburn Tigers fan, you're going to year 2 for Hugh Freeze, and your expectations, you feel like you can compete for a national championship based on previously, but it might not necessarily play out that way. Arkansas is in a little bit different situation, but again, it's not the only SEC team that is having to deal with the opposition right now.
But is this isolated? I mean, I think it's isolated to football, clearly, because we don't hear these same comments now about basketball. We don't hear it about baseball.
No.
And I think some of it, fair or unfair, it's a residual from last year, and let's just be honest. I mean, there's just more hope and more confidence in Dave Van Horn or John Calipari, who's not coached a game here, than there is across the fan base with Sam Pittman right now. And that's just based on results from last year.
I think that's rooted more in, can we compete financially? I don't know a lot of people and look, I hear people that wonder how good Arkansas is going to be in football this year, just like you guys do. I don't hear anybody saying, or at least not very many, man, our coaching staff's really bad. What I hear people saying are, I'm not sure we got the money. So it kind of goes back to what I was saying a little bit earlier. I don't think it's unique to here. I just think there are a lot of fan bases that wonder that.
Yeah,
right now.
and to your point, NIL was a thing in 2021. Now, it just started, but Arkansas
not
won.
like it is now.
Yes.
Not like it is now.
But that being said, you still won 9 games that year. And you still were in the midst of NIL that year.
Things were different then.
But NIL, comparing NIL then and comparing NIL now, not even close.
Mm-hmm.
Not even close.
Well, I don't know if y'all saw the Ross Bjork thing that Ohio State supposedly spent like $20 million on their football roster with NIL.
Well, Ryan Day said when all this started, Ryan Day said it's going to take us. It's good. He told Ohio State's boosters, they got him on tape. He said it's going to take $13 million annually for us to keep this thing rolling. Well, now they're saying 20. Now we act, well, that's just 7. That's $7 million every year. So takes quite a bit of cash.
Chuck, it's almost like fun money sometimes. It's like we hear these numbers, it's just
But
$7
it's
million.
real money for those who have to raise it.
And they brought in.
They can't go print it in the back room like the government.
Yeah,
so.
they brought in Judkins and Downs in the offseason. So, yeah, they've spent some money.
Some cash.
Yes, they did. No question.
All right, that's your Morning Rush Daily Question. It's brought to you by the Fence Man. If you own a business that needs more security or maybe just a better look and more curb appeal, a new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. They've been in business for more than 40 years, and the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, or controlled access. Walk-through gates, drive-through gates. They can control who gets in and out with their systems. Call the Fence Man now. 782-3936 is their number. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
So as we welcome in Tom Murphy to the conversation, Tom, I'm just going to relay the same question Tommy asked Chuck and myself to you. From your readers, when you get on the message boards on Whole Hog and with Arkansas Democrat Gazette, do you get a sense that there's more hopelessness with this fan base right now in terms of their football program and the direction they're trending?
Oh, I don't know. Good morning, guys. I don't know if I'd characterize it as hopelessness. It's just the fact that maybe understanding, where Arkansas kind of ranks among the teams that are, spending money, revenues, what have you. And so Arkansas will have to, be more than the sum of its parts, much like it was in 21 when you had guys like Grant Morgan and Bumper Poole that were, real leaders and kind of could bring the team along with them. And they were a team on the rise. KJ and Rocket they were just getting going, and Dominic Johnson in that group. So, yes, I think Arkansas fans understand that there are teams like you guys were just talking about. Ohio State needing to spend about $20 million to quote keep up.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. And if Chuck's what he was saying about they initially saying it would take 13 and then now it's 20, that's more than a 50% rise in just a few years. And it's unsustainable type numbers. SMU, they wanted to buy a team way back when. I don't think it was near like this,
So,
yeah, Pony Express was
and they've raised a bunch of money at SMU. That's a different conversation.
Yeah,
so.
just to get in the ACC. No, Tom, we've got fall camp next Friday, and I know we haven't gotten the official reports on what everything's going to look like, but we got some conversation out of Pittman and the guys at Media Days. What else is intriguing to you that maybe that hasn't been necessarily solved or that you're still waiting on that we'll get a chance to start looking in with our own eyes next Friday?
Exactly. Well, the most intriguing thing is, so the linebacker crew was Sorey and Spence and Dean for the most part, Alex Sanford, and now they're adding these other guys they got after spring. And so how are they going to fit in? Are they going to give them substantial snaps? Because what we saw in spring, it wasn't that bad. But they were young and not a ton of experience. So if those guys can fit in, I mean, you start to see where then Arkansas patched up a few places on its roster, and if they catch breaks, if they execute well, then they could be a team that's hard to beat.
Yeah, I'm ready to see maybe a glimpse, and it's hard to watch and really get a full understanding in the periods that we have traditionally been allowed to watch. But how deep is this defensive line? And man, Coach spoke about Quincy Rhodes. There's a player that his number is 97. There's a guy, if you get to go to a practice, you might want to zero in on.
He had his moments. There were some pass rush moments where you're like, oh gosh, this kid's going to play. But then talking to Landon Jackson in Dallas, it's like, he's got to improve his run defense. Otherwise, this kid's got great talent, and we did see some of that. So if you look at them across the board up front, Ball and Gregory, veteran guys who you kind of know what to expect out of them, that are solid guys. And Jackson, who has his flair for big moments like he did in the Alabama game. And then Nico DeValier, who he had a good spring. He flashed prior to that earlier in his career. So if Rhodes and if Anton Junkaj, if they come along, and then the young guys, Collins and Henderson, start to give you a little something, you start to see a little bit of depth along that front. Now, tackle, is a question. I mean, guys like Ian Gifford and Evie Rose have got to be able to provide some quality backup time. But otherwise, this D front, it's not far off from SEC level depth, I would say.
What about the other side of the trench, offensive line? I mean, we know there's a lot of newcomers. We know that, at tackle, you're going to be starting Blackstark and Carmona, it appears right now. But fair or unfair, I think that the team's going to be, at least from an offensive standpoint, people are going to focus in on that after what we saw unfold last year.
No doubt. I mean, when we got late in the season, Sam Pittman was being honest about saying that it started there. That's the building block, and that was where the issues lie, where they laid. And so they feel like they upgraded with Carmona and Blackstock. It's a good starting point. Still trying to find a place for Tykeus Crawford, we heard, at Media Day. So, Kudos and Braun have given you solid work before. And then Addison Nichols, he's moved over to center. How well will he compete at center? Be a big question. But, the depth, the Sam Pittman regime the guy who built up the O-line to the point they were on the cover of the media guide in 15 had not been able to develop, recruit, develop, and turn into a powerhouse O-line here, which is just a head scratcher. But maybe they're making strides. He's in there helping Eric Mateos. Perhaps we'll see improvement for that unit this year. And if they do, your offensive numbers should go up.
Tom, you speak of depth. Sounds like there's more depth coming to college athletics with Ross Dellinger's recent report on NCAA scholarship expansion. Baseball's nearly tripled, or has tripled, I should say. Which sport do you envision being the most affected by the additional scholarships that sound like are heading this way?
Yeah, based on what his report said, baseball would be the obvious choice because you can now grant, like you said, 3 times as many scholarships as before, and you could see some really stacked rosters. Baseball has really changed and evolved just since COVID. As Dave Van Horn points out, year to year, teams are older. Guys can stay in school longer. They're getting more NIL money. Maybe they prefer to make some NIL money as a junior or senior as opposed to, coming out if you're a draft eligible guy and riding buses for a couple years in the minor league. So I think that's going to be a huge deal. And now they can parcel out that it's not head count sports. They can divide up the percentages of scholarships, and that's a big deal as well.
Yeah.
When you think about what it's going to do to, let's say, this football roster close to home, how do you foresee Sam Pittman filling those 20? He doesn't have to. You don't have to have 105 scholarship players, but assuming that Arkansas has the money, how do you see him filling those 20 remaining scholarship spots?
Right. Well, as I read that, it would kick in for the 25, 26 school year. So, they would certainly have time to, and I'm sure they have a very good grip on where you want your depth, where you want your scholarships to fill in. I was reading some quotes that were out there yesterday from like media days. I think Ryan Day even talking about how the adjustment will be not that you're adding more scholarships to get up to 105, but what you carry into the season, your total roster would drop down from what used to be 120 in camp. So that will be an adjustment. But, you're going to have to stay stocked up on both sides of the line and that kind of thing. But all in all, it will provide more opportunity, which is where this thing kind of maybe naively where it started was providing more opportunities for kids.
Well, and let's close it out on this thought. Now, someone in Sam Pittman's position in a state with a lower population can take that risk on a kid that's maybe marginal in your recruiting process that's in state. So now, basically, anyone you think could probably play in the SEC that's from your state, you've got the room to offer them a scholarship is how I see it.
Well, that's a great point, Tommy, and it should provide more opportunities for that type of thing where maybe you take a 3-star kid and he's on scholarship and you can develop him. But I know a lot of programs have just taken great pride in what they do with their walk-on situation, and I don't know. Certainly that will change and evolve as this goes into effect.
Yeah, the days of Rudy are over. So, Tom, we'll leave it there, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right, Tom Murphy, Arkansas Democrat Gazette, with us Tuesdays and Thursdays. We bring Chuck Barrett back into the conversation. Chuck, that's one thing that I think is a byproduct of if it does go into place, and this is not all completely official, is that 3-star that Tom spoke of. That Arkansas has got to make a hard decision on. Now, I would think that a kid that really wants to come to Arkansas, you've just got more scholarship room and not let him slip away somewhere else.
It's possible. I think each coach, each program's probably going to have to make their own decision on how they go about doing this. You might see more in-state kids. We're going to have to see how much this really affects things. I just don't know. Does the 103rd scholarship in football, is that the difference maker?
No.
I just don't know. But clearly they're going to have to fund more scholarships. I'll just put it that way.
And to me, it gives you room for a third or a fourth of your roster to be really more developmental. gives you a chance to go down and take some swings in East Texas and try to get maybe a few more kids down there that didn't quite get the star rating that you'd hope, but you could turn them into something, or you're hoping to. So I think you can elevate your walk-on program, but in the end, it's going to function just the same, and you're going to have about 50 kids on your roster that will ultimately make the difference in winning and losing.
Well, the one thing that I'm pretty certain of is that as quickly as all these things are happening in college sports, it's very difficult to predict what real effect this is going to have, because I don't think any of us suspected NIL would turn into what it turned into as quickly as it did. I didn't imagine when they started talking about the transfer portal that the end result of that was going to be when a player has a good season, he views himself as a free agent and he can go out and, go to the highest bidder. If a guy has a great year for you, the one thing you know is your school's going to have to fight to keep him, because it's basically unrestricted free agency. And I don't think any of us saw that coming. And so I would imagine there's probably some byproducts of this we don't see coming. But I know that everything that's happening right now is tilted toward some sort of compensation for the for the student athletes, and I don't see that changing. Hey, I do know this: if you're buying or selling a home, Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, is the name you need to remember. They've been my partners, and I don't think you're going to hear very many bad stories about Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company. Ty's a first-time home buyer. They just led him through the process, and it is a process that first time out. And, after a while it becomes, I won't say old hat, but it's not quite as scary as it was before. And whatever your situation, with Weichert Realtors, the Griffin Company, they're going to meet you right where you are. Buyer, seller, whichever side of the table you find yourself on, they're going to represent your interests. They're going to listen to you. They're going to help you reach your goals. And ultimately, they're going to get you from contract to close. And that's when you get right down to it, the bottom line in a real estate transaction. Now, they're in Northwest Arkansas, Washington and Benton counties, Fort Smith, Branson. And you can always log on to WeichertGriffin.com.
You were asking Tommy earlier what bourbon Jeff from Weichert got.
Mm-hmm.
He texted, it's a bullet barrel strength bourbon. So it's whatever.
Well, it's good.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You sent that to him, or he sent it to you?
Jeff sent it to me post house closing and
It's a
everything.
closing gift.
So
Yeah.
it was really nice of him to do so.
Ty put it in the fridge like it was mayonnaise or something,
And there's
How many
two.
roommates you got? You got your roommates?
I'm trying to add
my.
I'm trying to add one, Chuck,
yeah?
for the quote unquote the pool house, even though there's not a pool on
You're
the
gonna
property.
rent out your pool house?
Yeah, that's the plan.
What a miser!
Trying to make some money back for.
You're gonna rent out your pool house.
I hadn't had a budget in 6 years. I'm kind of having to be strenuous on myself now because of this house where I'm spending a little bit more money.
So, like, if someone rents out your pool house, will you guys can they come over and have a drink with you at the end of the day? Maybe talk to you about the show.
Just chill.
ask you how things are going.
The plan
is that part of the package?
The plan is that's additional. Actually, it's an additional charge,
Okay,
but
I
It's an
got
add-on
you.
feature.
the plan is to add someone that would be just chill. That's the best way to describe.
Good
just
luck
chill
with that,
yeah.
pal.
It's not easy, as I've heard from other
No.
tenants.
If I was in your situation, I'd be looking for some single co-eds over there if I was you.
No, that gets
Someone to clean your house.
that
Yeah.
gets sticky. That's a sticky situation. All right. Let's see if this is any good. Brian in Ozark, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much.
I just got off work and I heard you guys kind of talking about Arkansas competing for games and stuff like that. Just to compete is where they need to be. And I'm kind of curious, is that where we're at now? I mean, a loss is a loss, no matter if it's by 1 point or 50 points. But I mean,
Well, we were talking about the financial aspects of competing.
Yeah, that's what
the
we were.
cost of competing.
oh,
That's
okay.
how we-
all right.
The NIL cost, everything that goes into being able to get on the same playing ground with your team, like Texas.
I want to hear how you're going to tie this back to Texas, Brian. How are you going to tie all this back to Texas being the greatest thing since sliced bread?
Well, obviously I was misinformed because I just got off. But I mean, I was going to tie it back to Texas because I can guarantee you there's not a school in the state of Texas, high school, junior high, college, that preaches we want to compete and not get beat. It's more along the
That's
line.
not what we were
It's
saying.
financials, Brian.
That's not what we were
Right.
saying. I mean,
Okay, I get that now. Like I said, I was misinformed.
that's okay.
Only
That's
got,
all right.
That happens.
It's not the
I only
first
got
time you've
part
been
of that
misinformed,
conversation.
Brian, and
Yeah.
it won't be the last.
So
That's exactly right. But you know
I'm
what?
just-
Hey, you
I'm
know what?
just
The
kidding you.
Longhorns,
So.
the Longhorns will be there, and we all know it. That's what matters.
Well,
I'm just glad to know we've talked to the one Longhorn fan with a job. That's the thing I'm most excited about this morning. We found the one that has a job.
I think Brian's small, and I'm going to leave it there. Tommy, you can talk about Gastons now.
No, please carry on.
No, he's small. We all know what we're talking about. Every single one of us know that we're talking about. I think he's small.
Throw down the gauntlet.
Oh, man. Hey, Gaston's White River Resort, the premier trout fishing resort in North America. I mean, and I'm not overstating that. That's not some of Brian's cockamamie BS he comes in here with about Texas. This is the real deal. You go look it up. The White River fishery is the top in North America. So I understand the treasure we have in our own backyard. Gaston's is the gem of places to stay. They have been around for more than 60 years, and they can treat you and your family or your clients or business friends or whoever you go with to a great time with one of their guided fishing trips and their great cabins right there on property. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
Just say, Alexa, play ESPN Arkansas.
ESPN Arkansas from TuneIn.
This is Governor Asa Hutchinson, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is the Morning Rush.
This is the game that they're saying national championship. And we're floating in a sea of red.
Hi, everybody. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with the exciting news. Backed by popular demand, state sales tax paid when you trade on our huge inventory of road-ready certified vehicles. That's right. This month, get the best used car your money can buy, road-ready certified with warranty, and get your state sales tax paid when you trade. One more reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Walk-Ons is always a win, whether it's for a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner. Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into their mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salad. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing.
Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online. The game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar. Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Conneray Drive into Queen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
This video.
Sodies.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
Enjoyed having Connor Nolan on yesterday, who pitched his first outing for the Iowa Cubs recently. And one of the experiences that he's enjoyed is playing against his former teammates and former Razorbacks.
It's been a whirlwind. I mean, honestly, it moves so quickly, and it feels like yesterday that we were in Omaha and playing with that team. So I've been enjoying the process. It's definitely a grind, and it goes by quick, but getting to see some familiar faces on other teams. Got to play Michael Turner, Jalen Battles, Patrick Wicklander earlier in the year. So getting to see some Razorbacks in Pro Bowl is definitely a good thing.
Chuck, a lot of guys have been added to the minors off this past team. I think 8, if I remember that right. You've already got a bunch of them already. You've got big league guys like Heston Kjerstad and Andrew Benintendi. The list just keeps growing for Arkansas baseball.
Well, and I think it is for all the good programs because, as you know, we were discussing a little bit earlier, and as Coach Van Horn's talked about a lot, the caliber of play, the older players. These guys, a lot of them are starting at either high A ball or double A ball. And now, they've got a shorter window or a smaller window when they get to the pros. You sign a pro contract at 22, you got about 2 years there before you're going to be doing something else if you don't make a big move. And Connor's at that age where it's good he's at AAA because he was an older player, by the time his career ended at Arkansas. And so he's got a smaller window. And you hope that he's able to make that last step, get to the show.
Moving forward, a couple other news for you, tidbits this morning. John Daly Jr. has qualified for the 2024 U.S. Amateur at Hazeltine Golf Club in Minnesota. Tommy, that might be a place you go visit at some point down the road.
They've hosted several majors that I remember. Yeah. So Hazeltine's one of the great courses in our country. So be fun to follow his track there. Mm-hmm. So
I know his dad happy about that. Dre Greenlaw was listed as a top 100 NFL player at number 76. I know San Francisco 49ers have been in some offseason storylines lately with Brandon Ayuk. And I brought this up with Tommy earlier. Chuck, did you see that Bill Belichick was reportedly offered the defensive coordinator job there?
I saw something about that.
Yeah, and turned it down, which I thought, props to Kyle Shanahan. He hadn't won one yet. He wants to win. He tried to hire one of the best defensive minds in football, if it's true. But thought it was.
I don't think a guy with that many Super Bowl rings as a head coach is going to be anyone's defensive coordinator. We talked about this. You brought it up with the Cowboys. I I find that impossible to believe that Bill Belichick will be someone's defensive coordinator.
Yeah, and it doesn't sound like
he's got his hands full right now.
That he does.
Yeah.
That he does.
Both hands full.
His girlfriend was in Vegas the other day. Might have seen that. Jasper Johnson, class of 2025 guard, top 15 player, has listed Arkansas within his top 5. Kid plays out of Atlanta. So you were just in the top 6 for Malik Thomas, who's another great player in the upcoming class. J.J. Andrews, Sean's son, got reoffered by Arkansas. You were talking about the importance of Peach Jam. A lot of great, talented players. And, I mean, you look at top 15, 20 players in 25 and 26, a lot of them have interest in Arkansas. It is, again, I know we keep talking about it, but that is just the Cal effect that's happened in Fayetteville within just a few short months.
That's why you pay that guy $8 million bucks. I mean, that's why there's so much hope. And when we talk about, is there hopelessness with the football program with some part of the fan base? There's 0% that I found that have that with basketball. And it's stories like you just reported there that makes you hopeful for, things beyond maybe even a Final Four.
I saw Chuck. I saw the guys practice for the first time at Bud Walton Arena this week. Obviously, been in the practice field, I guess, before, but they took in Bud Walton Arena for the first time, and I guess you've had some former players for Kentucky that have played in there, but for a lot of the guys, that's probably one of the first few times they've stepped in that gym.
Yeah, I don't know how much time they spend in there, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm sure they can go in whenever they want, but. They'll
it's shareholders week.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Unless the shareholders are in town. But no, I think people are excited to watch them play, and there's going to be a lot of new faces, and there's a talent level that we've not seen in a while.
Let me tell you something. The luxury of having a few friends that were managers when I was in school that have a fob to Bud Walton and the practice facility laid in.
Don't say that too loud.
Yeah,
Ty.
That was nice.
Allegedly. Maybe the statute of limitations all run out.
Statute of limitations.
That was 3 administrations
ago.
I
thought you meant you still had the fob.
Oh, I wish I still had the fob.
I got you.
I wish they would have kept it. I think they had to turn it back in. Last thing here, they have reportedly announced another game for Arkansas basketball this season, according to Rocco Miller, who's been on these airwaves. North Carolina A&T will be playing Arkansas December 21st. So they're finalized. We still haven't seen anything about, I guess, Dallas just yet. That was a city that Cal mentioned at SEC spring meetings. Nothing's been finalized. I asked Rocco about that. He could envision playing Baylor there in American Airlines. Nothing has come out about that of any sort, but for the most part, I mean, your non-conference schedule is about done, at least from the report standpoint.
I didn't take it to mean when he said we got to play in Dallas. I didn't take it to mean we're going to play in Dallas this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe some did, and maybe that's the way he meant it. Maybe there's going to be a game announced. I don't know. We'll see. It'd be fun.
I would imagine in the next couple of weeks, usually about the mid-August, you've got that schedule pretty well finalized and in your hands. So, I don't think we still haven't seen any official release on. It's widely known that you're playing Michigan at Madison Square Garden, but has that been? I mean, it's out there, and I think you can get tickets, but I don't think the university has said, "Hey, we're doing this," even though everybody knows you're doing it.
It's listed on different sites on different days. Some have it on my birthday, December 11th. Others have it the day before on December 10th. So, like you said, it doesn't appear to be at least publicly set in stone just yet. Yeah. Which we'll have to wait on that. All right, that is your hog update this morning. It is brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
It better not be on the 11th. I've already booked my flight, so because I'm seeing everything's on the 10th. So.
I figured you guys would stay a couple days for that.
I'm going
back
ahead of that.
pretty early. Well, I hope it's not on the 11th for you. I'll tell you what. I'll be
rebooking my flight if I do.
Did you go out of Dallas? You going to Action A?
Action A.
Okay.
Nonstop, baby.
It's what, $250?
What?
The flight.
Oh, it's more than that now.
Okay. Well, I had a friend that was looking the other day and it wasn't too bad. Chuck, I tried something for the first time yesterday.
Well, that may be back in coach.
Tommy doesn't sit on the back row.
I'm not sitting in the. Yeah.
Well, as someone that doesn't.
I need the slippers that they provide you up front and the cookies.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, Chuck, speaking of food, and I'm again very frugal with what I eat during the week. I just bought like 5 steaks for this week.
That's frugal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't buy anything
Nothing
else.
says budget like a ribeye steak on a Wednesday night.
Nobody's got a budget like a single man. I just bought 5 steaks this week.
Well, it could have been ramen, but I tried in the air fryer for the first time, Chuck, and it was good. Do you have an air fryer at the house?
I do, as a matter of fact.
I don't
use it for steak, but I do have an air fryer. Yes.
I've never cooked one in there, but I've heard
Give
my
it a
brother
whirl.
has and has said raving reviews about it.
Don't Tommy made a good suggestion earlier. Don't go to Richard's and get a nice steak. If you're going to do it, get a grocery.
Not for the first time.
Yeah. And then figure out what you like about it, then go from there. But, Chuck, you hadn't done it yet, and you too, Tommy. I'm telling you, it was really good.
Now, what we revealed out of this, Chuck, is he likes his steak well done. So I'm not sure I can move forward in this working
Let's
relationship
clarify.
with a man that wants a well-done steak.
Medium well. I just cooked it too long. It said 50 or 12 to 20 minutes. I cooked it 18. That was way too long. I'm going to do less the next time.
12 to 20 doesn't mean 18.
Yeah, but that's I try to do the math.
Well, there we go.
Rare, medium rare, medium well done. I was just off on my
You like
on
it
my math
medium well?
adjustment. Yeah.
That's still
we've
going
been
to
over
strain
this.
this relationship.
We've been over this. Listen,
It's still a strain.
I do things differently, not just on air, but off air as well.
But we already knew you wasn't a real man, so that just confirms it. You know?
Whatever. All right, Tom Leming's going to join us coming up. He's covered college football recruiting for quite some time. Going to get his thoughts on how this can affect and will affect college football, the Ross Dellinger report about the changing of scholarships, and not just how it's going to affect college football, but others moving forward, and his thoughts on Arkansas and in-state recruiting as well. Tom joins us on the other side. It is a Too Stupid Thursday. Hour 3 is next.
It started as a dream, and here you are. It's moving day. But wait, isn't moving supposed to be stressful? Oh, that's right. You bought your home using Weichert Realtors. Your Weichert agent guided you from start to finish to help make sure we found you your perfect place. Dream, move, home, Weichert. Call your local Weichert Realtors office today and make your move. And look for our bright yellow signs. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Work now, pay later with sizzling savings at WT Equipment. No money down, no interest, and no payments until 2025 on select New Holland equipment. Choose 0 for 60 or up to 10,000 cash back plus free net wrap on roll belt round balers. 0 for 72 or up to 10,000 cash back on mid-range tractors, or 0 for 72 plus an additional 2,000 cash back on a new compact. Work smarter with no money down, no interest, and no payments on your choice of the summer's hottest deals at WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This is the Morning Rush.
Hey folks, here at Road Chevrolet, 2800 Alma Highway with Grant Neal. Grant, let's talk about pre-owned vehicles.
Well, we've worked hard at trying to source great pre-owned vehicles. It's been very hard. You know, the market's strong, but that helps people because we're giving the best value for trade-ins and the highest value for purchasing vehicles. But we work hard to make sure that we pick the right one. So every vehicle on the lot has been meticulously looked over, cared for, and inspected. So we really have the highest quality possible for all of our vehicles that we have in stock. We try to make sure we've got something for everybody. So if you're shopping for something, you know, certified pre-owned, lightly used, very low miles, we've got it. If you need something that's more of a budget-driven vehicle, we try to find vehicles that are high quality while still maintaining the price points at $10,000 and below, $15,000 and below. So really, we've got a vehicle for everybody here at Rose.
And financing's available.
Absolutely. So we work hard to make sure that we can get people approved and get them the best possible financing. A huge selection of banks. We really surprised a lot of people who walk in and say, well, I don't think I can get approved. Well, just give us a shot. We'll do what we can for you.
Come out today, Road Chevrolet, 2800 Alma Highway in Van Buren.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Jam Mart. Jam Mart is always trying to save you money, and that's why they partner with Valero. Hook up your checking account to the Valero Pay Plus app, and you'll get 10 cents off a gallon, plus other special deals on holidays and more. Jam Mart and Valero, passing on the savings to you. Now available at the 3 Fort Smith Valero Jam Mart locations. And stop by any of the 6 Jam Mart locations in the area. Jam Mart, the leading gas station and convenience store in the region.
Summer camp, vacation, travel baseball, repeat. Family reunion, lake time, I'm beat. A parent in the summertime is a glorified chauffeur, but if you find yourself in a fender bender, you'll need a good lawyer. I'm Jackie Mock. With 12 years of experience in insurance and car wreck cases, I can help get you back on the road for more summer fun. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Now we will share a lifetime of the fondest memories.
Billy, can I ask you a question?
You just did.
Seriously, we are getting a lot of positive comments about you. What's your secret?
Oh, I just follow the 4 W's.
4 W's? Aren't there 5?
5?
Yeah. What, where, when, why, and who?
Wes, who starts with an H?
That's how.
I don't know how. It just does.
No, who starts with a W?
You sure?
Positive.
Anywho, my 4 W's are, what would Wes want? I picture every customer like there's you asking for something. What you want is what they want. What would Wes want? WWWW, 4 W's, makes 8 U's.
Huh?
Treat customers like you, and it doubles the people. Pretty simple the way I see it.
4 W's. What would Wes want? Billy, you're brilliant.
Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family, from general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Now offering same-day crowns. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, a chance of seeing some showers and some scattered thunderstorms, especially south. Our highs today will be in the middle to upper 80s. Expecting to see a slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm across the south tonight. Otherwise, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Overnight lows will drop down into the upper 60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Come Get You Some, Arkansas's premier off-road superstore. Call 782-MUD today. KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 35 days. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Farm Credit. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com.
Well, there are going to be a lot of sports with some big conversations coming up as Yahoo Sports reporter Ross Dellinger says millions of dollars of new college sports scholarships are on their way. He says the NCAA is set to increase roster sizes. Dellinger reports that sport-by-sport scholarship restrictions would be gone, and universities could offer scholarships to the entire roster. Big changes for football, baseball, and softball at the top.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Good morning, gentlemen. Let me rephrase that. You got 2 gentlemen. You got one ain't earned it yet, has he?
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
It's
Lots changed in recruiting the last few years. You've had NIL, the transfer portal, and now the changing of scholarships, it sounds like, according to Ross Dellinger's report. A guy that's been covering recruiting for quite some time is Tom Leming. He's set to join us, give us a national perspective. He's been following some guys in state as well in the high school ranks for Arkansas and this football program. We'll get his thoughts on kind of everything going on in the college football world as we get rolling here in hour number 3.
Couldn't think of a better place to wind down the day than with our friends at Uncorked. Their patio, particularly with the weather we've had, is perfect right now. They've got a refreshing summer cocktail menu they've got available, wines that you won't find anywhere else that you can buy by the, I hate to say it the ounce, but by the partial glass. They got the machines where you buy the card and swipe it. You can try a variety of different wines that maybe, hey, I've not tried that one to see if I like it. Maybe have half a glass or a full glass. Those, I think, Indomatic machines that they have there give you a chance to really have the variety there. You can do that on the patio. Of course, great service. And I'd try out some of their appetizers. We've talked about the fried deviled eggs. And you're like, deviled eggs, I'm telling you, if you haven't done these fried deviled eggs that they've got at Uncorked, you are really missing out.
Charcuterie and
they got a great board there.
Yeah, and I did a burger on Happy Hour. They had meatballs as well.
Oh yeah, their meatballs are fire. So hey, try it out. Great place for happy hour. Great place to gather with friends. And hey, when the games roll around, they got the biggest screen right over the bar to watch the Hogs this fall as well. It's all at Uncorked. Make your reservations maybe for date night this weekend. UncorkedTheFort.com and go see him at Uncorked Phoenix Avenue next to Sody's in Fort Smith.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by Mach 1 Financial. Mach 1 Financial Group, LLC is an SEC-registered investment advisor located in Bentonville, Arkansas. For full disclosures, visit mach1financial.com/disclosures.
Tommy, I also have some good news before we talk to Tom. This is from Jace, a listener, saying he emailed ESPN Events, and they said the game is on December 10th, and it should be announced soon. He said, don't trust Vivid and other ticket websites until the tickets are on their website. So he wanted to verify that with you this morning.
That's what I've been told.
Okay.
So.
All right, well, that is good news. All right, let's talk to our friend Tom Leming, college football recruiting analyst for CBS Sports. Tom, I know you're kind of an SEC country right now, driving from Kentucky to Knoxville, Tennessee. Things have changed across college football, particularly in recruiting these last couple years. Between NIL, between the transfer portal, and it sounds like the upcoming scholarship additions, what do you think's had the most impact in the last few years?
I think the collection of all of them. I think it's when I grew up in the 60s, there were about 20, 22 dominating teams. Rarely did a team under those teams ever beat them. Every now and then when Indiana beat Ohio State, it was national news because of 105 scholarships back in the 60s. When I started doing my magazine, it was 95 and 78. Then when it got down to 85, those players are going elsewhere, which kind of, brought other teams closer to the powerhouses. Now it's going to be a powerhouse type college football with the major schools dominating once again. If they're able to get 105 guys, I mean, they're taking 20 players away from the other teams that can't quite recruit the way they do. And also with NIL money, usually the powerhouses have more money than everyone else too. So it's going to, I wouldn't be surprised to see a super, although the SEC right now is a super league, and so is the Big Ten. Some of the other teams are scrambling to try to get into those two conferences. I do think that it's not leveling the playing field like it used to do. So I think if people are happy with, the top 25, 30 teams dominating, then that's what they're going to really start getting once they're allowed to have 105 players scholarshiped on the team.
Tom, when they announced transfer portal and NIL money and what it was supposed to be, what was your vision of what college athletics would become, and how is that different than what it's actually turned into today?
There's always been some money under the table. Now the money's allowed to be over the table. So I think I do think that the NCAA should have gotten ahead of all of this, and they didn't, and that's why it's kind of a bit out of control. And some people smarter people have taken advantage of it more than the other teams have. But the NIL, with players being able to transfer every year and without a penalty, I think that it's sort of like pro football right now. You got them under contract with the money you have for that 1 year, but I think they could bounce as soon as free agency hits, which is every year now. So it's a strange world right now in recruiting. I noticed. Like the top player in Arkansas, usually you say, especially a state like Arkansas, there's a lot of loyalty to the state. Now there'll be more loyalty to the NIL money then state loyalty will come a little bit after that. And I saw that with some of the players nationally, and it's a shame. There's a lot of people complaining about it, but the players did need probably to get money. The colleges were making millions upon millions off the players, and then if the player was given a jacket to keep warm while he's walking around campus, the NCAA would come right after him. Little things like that. Or if he got a ride because it was raining out, you're not supposed to drive him around. So their nitpicking really caused all of this, and I think now I just think the genie's out of the bottle, and you got to kind of go with the flow.
So the in-state loyalty aspect you mentioned, I think a lot of Arkansas fans, again, they're just commits. They're not signees. I think it's important to separate that out. But, Tom, is that going to be the norm, in your opinion, moving forward, but not just states like Arkansas, but as we continue on this direction with everything going on in the recruiting side of things?
Oh, that's 100% for sure. I noticed because I travel. I'll drive all 48 states, the mainland 48 states, and then I'll try to go to Hawaii every couple of years. And talking to the ball players, and Nick Saban was absolutely right. It's more, they don't talk about how are you going to develop me, how are you going to get me to the NFL, how are you going to make me a better person. It's all about what are you going to give me because they offered me this. And I've seen some of the big names over the past 2 years now commit to one school with an eye towards another one, and then whoever they've got working with them will deal with the schools or their collectives and say, okay, well, he's committed here. There was a kid 2 years ago that was committed to one school for a year. He commits to another one on signing day, said that his fax machine broke down, so he couldn't send to him. But I understand he was negotiating between that school and another school for more money.
Wow.
So that's what people have to get used to right now. It's all about NIL money, much more than it is state loyalty. And then I could see the players doing that too, because college coaches, they'll jump as soon as they get an extra couple of bucks to another school that I think could be more profitable. So coaches have been doing it for years. Now the players are doing just what the coaches have done for time immemorial.
Tom Leming's our guest, college football recruiting analyst for CBS Sports. So, Tom, I think that begs the question for Arkansas. Like OSU, apparently, Ohio State just spent $20 million for their football team in NIL, according to their athletics director, Ross Bjork. How does Arkansas football, in your opinion, compete in the current landscape?
Well, they've got money, too. I think it's a matter of the collective coming through with a lot of stuff. Arkansas is doing okay. Missouri is a school that surprised me. They're up there with Ohio State and Miami and Tennessee and Georgia and Alabama, which surprised me. So you can do it if you want to do it. Every school's got wealthy alumni that can actually help, that are football fans that can actually help the program. I think they can do, and they're holding their own. Maybe they're not there with Georgia and Alabama in the conference, or Texas, who, they've got extraordinary amounts of money, but they can hold their own, and I think they can do a pretty good job, and they're doing a good job too. They did lose the big tackle. I think that might have had something to do with some NIL money too, the number one player in the state, but they did get Grayson Wilson and a few of the other top guys in the state, and I think Grayson's a 4-star quarterback who committed very early, and he was down at our camp for the U.S. Army game in December. I was really impressed with him. He's a big-time player, so I think they'll do okay, Arkansas, and it just comes down to really evaluating players a little bit better than you've had in the past, just because you're not able to really go head-to-head with Georgia or Alabama, maybe even LSU in the conference, and now you got Texas and Oklahoma coming along.
Tom Leming is our guest, recruiting expert. Tom Leming, you mentioned some kids in state. Let me ask you about one in the 26 class that everything you read going to be one of the most highly coveted quarterbacks around the country. Dozens of offers, and that's Kane Archer at Greenwood, Arkansas. Have you seen his tape, and what's your thoughts on Kane and his future?
Yeah, I have seen his tape. I'm going to see him in person on my next trip through Texas when I go, because I always go through Arkansas, especially the northwest section of it, and he's fantastic. He was All-State last year, and I thought, they get Grayson Wilson this year and they get him next year. They're sitting pretty with quarterbacks, and that's the most important position. You can see how LSU came up last year. They got a Jaden Daniels. They developed him after he had sort of a so-so career at Arizona State. And quarterbacks are just so important in college football nowadays, athletic quarterbacks, and both of these guys are very athletic.
You mentioned how impressed you were with Grayson Wilson, and Tom, again, loyalty seems to be less there than it was years ago with NIL. I wonder how much the quarterbacks can still impact recruiting classes based on guys they previously played with, based on guys they know. Is that still, of any recruiting class, is that still the most pivotal position to get other guys to campus with any class moving forward?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Quarterbacks, they want to get them in early so they can work on particularly all the other offensive players, linemen, running backs, receivers. And that's why it's important. That's why Grayson, who committed matter of fact, in December, his dad was a big fan of Houston Nutt, who is my co-host and coaching for our U.S. Army. I mean, Houston came over and said great things about the University of Arkansas to him and Grayson. And we were just sitting around the lobby talking for about an hour, all four of us. And Grayson committed almost around that time, and then immediately started working on ball players for Arkansas, calling the offensive players. It's very important for every program. That's why they like to get the guys in early. Then you see a quarterback sometimes commit early and then switch schools, which screws them all up. But I guess that nowadays, because of NIL, you're going to have that happen every now and then.
Tom, I know you've got some stuff to do the rest of the day as you're making your way to Knoxville, Tennessee. We appreciate your time. Make sure you stop by Calhoun's on the River later this afternoon.
I've always stopped at Calhoun's. I used to speak for the quarterback club luncheon with Johnny Majors and then Phil Fulmer every year, and I love it. I love Calhoun's.
It's a good spot. It's a good spot. Well, be safe on your trip, man.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Tom Leming with us here on the Morning Rush. Bring Chuck back in, and Chuck, he's one of the foremost experts when it comes to recruiting, and I thought his insights on how this will affect things with the scholarship expansion and just hearing him talk about the money. He didn't sound like he was too down on Arkansas and where the Hogs stood and the program stood right now financially.
Well, I think when you compare it to the other schools around the country, which it sounded to me like he was doing, they probably stack up favorably. The problem is you're competing against the other 15 schools in the SEC, and most of them are going to be in everybody's top 20, 25, 30 when it comes to money too. So there's good and bad in that.
Yeah, and he talked about Missouri and how they've taken a jump into the national upper crust. That's what winning will do for you. But back to what you're saying there, Chuck, it's kind of like recruiting rankings. You might be 9th in the country, but 7th in your league sometimes. I think that's kind of how NIL money's going to go. You might be top 25 nationally, but you could be 14th in this league when it comes to NIL money.
And I do. This needs to be mentioned because he mentioned losing out on Omarion Robinson and Wimberley. He didn't list him by name, but Missouri lost out on Ryan Wingo. He's playing in St. Louis, which is not far from Columbia. It's Ronnie's little brother, 5-star kid, just an outstanding wide receiver / running back combo. So it's not just happening in Arkansas. Drinkowitz and them wanted him bad. He's in Austin. I mean, this happens, and this isn't. I mean, we lost on Keith Jackson years ago. This isn't just something. You just don't want it to be prevalent. You don't want it to be happen. But I did find it interesting. Grayson Wilson, who's at Conway right now, as he transferred in the offseason from CAC, we hadn't talked about him. Like he's a kid that has risen in the recruiting ranks, and I know this is down the road. Kane's gotten the majority of the attention, and probably rightfully so, but this is a kid that has seemed to get some national respect from the recruiting standpoint and could be a pivotal piece when it maybe comes to not only convincing some in-state guys that are currently committed elsewhere, but also maybe flipping some kids that are not in-state as well.
Well, you sure hope so. I mean, you hope he's able to do that.
Yeah, and, I think the message and all of that is the loyalty only goes as far as the NIL money. And hearing him talk about those stories, leveraging schools against each other on
that's pretty wild.
Signing day, but are you surprised? I'm not surprised by any of that.
Oh, I think it's commonplace.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just a rare occurrence anymore. And we I think that's one of the difficult things for us as fans to adjust to as we watch recruiting unfold. That we grew accustomed, not just us, but everybody around the country grew accustomed to the in-state kids going to the in-state school because they loved them as much as we did. Mm-hmm. They grew up there. But what Tom said a moment ago, and I'm not saying it happens with every kid, every situation is different, but It is a bidding war sometimes. And the first question oftentimes is, tell me about your NIL program. And it's unfortunate, and sometimes it disqualifies a kid, but sometimes it doesn't. And I'm just, I think as fans, we've got to adjust some of our thinking.
Yeah.
Not just as it pertains to football, but as it pertains to everything. That, this is basically what we've taught them. Whether we want to admit it or not. I mean, we've taught these kids now that it's about what you can get, and so that's what they're asking about.
Well, and you brought this up before, and you're spot on. It's like the SEC and other conferences have flaunted how much money they made before. I mean, kids have social media. Kids read stuff. They see that, and they're like, why aren't we getting any of this? And they see the exorbitant coaches' contracts as well. But as you brought up many times too, Tommy, you just didn't expect it to necessarily pan out this way, which it has, and it's a different definitely different than we
they assured us it wouldn't be pay for play when they set and it's immediately. It's what it became immediately was pay for play, and that was not the intention. Well, this is so they can go get a few bucks in their pocket to sign some autographs at the local business. Well, it's become anything but that.
Well, I can remember us also saying there are very few systems devised where the rich don't get richer, and that's basically what is happening in college sports right now. It's very difficult if you're not a football power or in a conference that's perceived to be a football power conference. It's going to be harder to compete than maybe people might like to admit. Hey, this week on the Market Moment podcast, they're going to talk about politics and money. That ought to get your attention right there. How's the election going to affect the market? Lee and Matt dive into it. Now, this week on the Market Moment podcast, they're also going to look back on the last several decades of the S&P 500. They've got some other data. They're going to talk about staying in the market as opposed to timing the market. All that's on the table this week on the Market Moment podcast, and you can check it out by heading to market-moment.com. That's market-moment.com. And Mach 1 Financial Group, LLC is an SEC-registered investment advisor. They're located in Rogers. For full disclosures, visit mach1financial.com/disclosures.
All right, we've got our SEC update coming up this hour, which we're going to get into some news. I read this article, interesting. By the way, Joe Burrow, Tommy, has revealed why he got his head painted, or what? Not painted, dyed or
dyed
whatever.
His hair.
So that's not
yellow, gold,
yes.
whatever color you want to call it.
Not appealing to me.
Look like
whatsoever.
a honey badger.
Yeah, I guess it's both LSU Tigers,
maybe worse.
but I don't. Joe looks a little weird when he did that. On this program, Chuck, you were not doing the show at the time, but at one point, I ate 8 chili dogs during about 15 minutes in. It is National Chili Dog Day. So I feel like
you're going to do it again?
I think I could surpass it.
Sonic had them a buck a piece or whatever that time.
Day.
So I think we went and got. I think you declared you could eat 10 and you ate 8 or something.
I declared I could eat 8 and I ate 8.
Well, go get 10 and go on those boys' show this afternoon and.
Why wait till this afternoon?
I was going to say Zach would be disappointed if he didn't do it while he's on his vacation.
Or get someone to bring him to you right now over the next 40 minutes.
Is there better topping on a hot dog than chili? I can't. I think it would be stupid on a Too Stupid Thursday to say yes.
Chili and cheese. Now you can't have chili without cheese.
Cheese. Yes, those. You
can have cheese without chili, but it's like peanut butter and jelly. They go together.
Those are hand in hand. That you have to combine them at this point. Yes, might end up taking it on that, or wait till when Zach gets back next week. I know Derek is happy to have him back. Notre Dame fantasy camp. I'm surprised you approved him, letting him go to that, getting him even more indoctrinated, Tommy, than he already is.
Yeah,
but
he'll come back injured. He's old. He's brittle. He'll come back hurt.
Probably will. I would guess so. All right, we got, again, more to discuss here coming up in just a bit. Hit that line now. If you've not downloaded our app, do so. Google Play and the iTunes Store as well. It's easy. It's simple. It's how Tommy, myself, Chuck, all of us listen. We're on the go. We're outside of our traditional listening areas. You can watch our YouTube highlights of different press conference. You can watch the live shows. You can text into the show. You can call into the show. Everything is right there for you, again, on the Hit That Line Now app. Just search for it. You'll find it. And if you would, give us a 5-star review as we continue to get our Arkansas Razorback content out there as quickly as possible. So we heard from Tom there about the impact of certain things going on with college athletics. I want to come back to that and come back to Ross. And kind of what Jimmy said earlier. How are you hopeful or hopeless for Arkansas football right now? We'll answer that coming up.
Streaming live from hitthatline.com.
This is former Razorback Chris Gregg, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Work now, pay later with sizzling savings at WT Equipment. No money down, no interest, and no payments until 2025 on select New Holland equipment. Choose 0 for 60 or up to 10,000 cash back plus free net wrap on roll belt round balers. 0 for 72 or up to 10,000 cash back on mid-range tractors, or 0 for 72 plus an additional 2,000 cash back on a new compact. Work smarter with no money down, no interest, and no payments on your choice of the summer's hottest deals at WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This is The Morning Rush.
Arkansas, 80 yards. The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, Sakhalin.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online. The game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar. Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swart Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swart Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swart Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive in Queen, Arkansas. Swart Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
Make Awake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine. On North 11th Street is your place. Make Awake Bait and Tackle. Also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make Awake Bait and Tackle. 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith. 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make Awake Bait and Tackle.
Summertime in Arkansas means pond and creek fishing, and nothing catches bass and bluegill in a pond like a Rebel crickhopper. You can twitch it, pop it, walk it, and swim it. It's the ultralight fishing lure that looks and acts like a real grasshopper. The crickhopper works great in tandem with light spinning rods and reels with 4 or 6 pound fishing line. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. The Rebel crickhopper.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
When you looked at the offense last year, there were times that it looked as though it was in disarray. I've never seen one of Petrino's offenses look like they were in disarray. It's not going to be perfect every time, but they're always going to look like they've been coached. There were points last year offensively where I just thought everybody was on a different page. I'm not saying they're going to score 40 a game, but you're going to know they've been coached.
All right, back here on the Morning Rush. Got a text in from BG and Rogers this morning. Seems like all I hear anymore is that Arkansas isn't a football school. It won't compete. Get used to it. My opinion is, Tommy, that you just need to, if you're not going to settle for competing, then you just need to shut it down. I need the John Taffer shut it down bar rescue reference there. But no, BG, they're not going to shut down the program anytime soon. It's the moneymaker. It's the cash cow. Just hoping they win more than 4 games this fall.
I brought to you this morning by WT Equipment. Work now and pay later with sizzling savings at WT Equipment. There are 9 locations that can help you. You can find one at WTEquip.com, offering no money down, no interest, and no payments until 2025 on select New Holland equipment. You can choose 0 for 60 or up to 10,000 back, plus a free net wrap on roll belt round balers. 0 for 72 or up to 10,000 in cash back on mid-range tractors, and their savings on compact tractors and more. Work smarter with no money down, no interest, and no payments on your choice of this summer's hottest deals at WT Equipment. They are your partner in progress. Find a location at WTEquip.com.
So I went back and listened to some of the shows from this time last year, and there was a lot of hope, a lot of excitement, a lot more positive energy surrounding the football program. You were picked high in the SEC West. We know how last season went. This offseason, it's been different. There's been a lot more negative calls, a lot more negative text. Jimmy and Conway equated it earlier to like us being, as a football program, in a neighborhood that we can't necessarily afford in the Southeastern Conference. In my opinion, I think with Arkansas's football program right now, you just need that jolt of energy. And I don't know what that equates to in terms of wins, but guys, we all we have to do is look at Columbia, Missouri. I mean, Eli Drinkwitz was supposedly on his way out last year. And I'm not saying you're going to win 10 games, and they were in a they had an easier schedule than Arkansas faces this season, but it can flip real quick.
Yeah, you know
in college football.
You know how to do that?
Winning.
You win. So if Arkansas got out to a 3-0 start, go to Oklahoma State, come back, win your Fayetteville opener with against UA Birmingham, then go win at Auburn, and all those are huge things. But you want to talk about excitement and flipping the narrative? Chuck, you've seen this a million times. I've seen it 500,000 times. I mean, go out and start 3-0, and we'll see what the conversations are like here on the radio.
Well, most of the time, I won't say all the time, but a lot of the time, the conversation in July and the conversation in October are 2 totally different things, because you've either met expectations or you've not lived up to expectations, or so many things can happen, and I just think they need to go play. And you're right, if you win games, the narrative flips. There's no doubt about it. I don't put a whole lot into the preseason picks. I never have. I took a picture the other day and saved it on my phone, and we're going to go back when the season's over, and we're going to see how it all shakes out as compared to what the preseason poll said. So But there's no question you win ball games, and everything anyone feels negatively is going to change.
Yep. These guys, we've talked about the pressure on the coaching staff. There is some pressure on a particular person on this Arkansas football team. That's Taylon Green. Whether it's fair or unfair, he's been kind of thrust into a situation that he elected to come to Fayetteville with, and there are expectations because of what happened last year. Now, Landon Jackson, one of the captains of this football team, is one of the guys that represented you at SEC Media Days, has confidence, and that confidence stemmed from really the first week that Taylon got to campus.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. He won the locker room the first week he was here. He came in and just his sense of urgency. He has all the traits to be, a leader for a big-time SEC program. He goes to work every day, first one in, last one out, does all he can to perfect his craft, and he doesn't just worry about himself. He really wants to perfect his teammates as well. He's one of those players that makes players around him better.
Now, guys, it's one thing to be a leader in that locker room and take over the starting job. It's another thing for Taylon to acclimate to the SEC, which he's going to have to do in week 4 when they travel to Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, Alabama, which Arkansas, outside of 2 years ago, has not had a lot of success in. Again, I asked it last week, is it harder to acclimate as a coach going from a lesser conference like the Mountain West to the SEC, as did Brian Harsin, which didn't work out, or a player? I think we're going to find out with Arkansas starting quarterback, not even week 4, week 2, honestly, in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Yeah, players are players. They'll acclimate. If he's a good player, Chuck, we're going to notice it out of the gate.
Well, you've got to consider the fact that the Southeastern Conference is widely viewed as the best college football conference. There are 16 starting quarterbacks. So you've got to be elite level if you're going to be one of those guys. And he is elite level. And all the things that he's doing off the field are probably the things I would guess that all the quarterbacks in the Southeastern Conference are doing off the field this summer. I doubt you're going to hear anybody say, man, our quarterback's a terrible leader. He's just horrible. Hasn't been, can't even find him this summer.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to say that. You got to go out and perform. And but I think from a preparation standpoint, from a being coached every day standpoint, I think he's already seen what life in the SEC is going to be like.
Never forget, Bobby Petrino hand-selected this guy. There's some reasoning behind it, and I think it'll all reveal itself soon enough. Hey, football season's almost here. That's all we've been talking about. If you haven't downloaded the Oaklawn Sports app, use the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store to get in on the action. You can get futures for football season, outright winners, spreads, totals, player props, and game props. If you can name it, you can probably bet on it with the Oaklawn Sports app. They make it easy. You can open your account, use your debit or credit card, PayPal, Apple Pay, Venmo, ACH, on-site cash there in Hot Springs. It's easy. Plus, you get that first chance or that second chance bet on your first bet as well. Hey, bet with a brand you trust anywhere in Arkansas. Bet with Oaklawn Sports.
All right, one more segment in the Morning Rush coming up next.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com. Hey everybody, this is Justin Moore, and you're listening to The Morning Rush. Whoopee.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Work now, pay later with sizzling savings at WT Equipment. No money down, no interest, and no payments until 2025 on select New Holland equipment. Choose 0 for 60 or up to 10,000 cash back, plus free net wrap on roll belt round balers. 0 for 72 or up to 10,000 cash back on mid-range tractors, or 0 for 72 plus an additional 2,000 cash back on a new compact. Work smarter with no money down, no interest, and no payments on your choice of the summer's hottest deals at WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This is the Morning Rush.
Somebody get him a plane ticket for New York City.
When I go out to eat, I want something fresh. I don't want something that's been sitting in a freezer or processed. When I go to Lily Sandwich Shop, I am satisfied to the max. That's because Josefa makes everything fresh and uses that River Valley farm fresh produce during our long growing season. Stop by Lily Sandwich Shop in the Bakery District and become another satisfied customer. The sandwiches speak for themselves.
My name is Lily. My Baba makes the best sandwiches at Lily's Sandwich Shop. Come by and see them at the Bakery District today.
Hi, everybody. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with the exciting news. Backed by popular demand, state sales tax paid when you trade on our huge inventory of road-ready certified vehicles. That's right. This month, get the best used car your money can buy, road-ready certified with warranty, and get your state sales tax paid when you trade. One more reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
World-class trout fishing is the star of the show at Gaston's White River Resort, where a few days away from all the worries and stress will make all right in your world. Gaston's has friendly, experienced guides to help you land your limit. Enjoy your stay at Gaston's in one of their private cottages, or reserve a lodge for up to 20 people. Call now and let Gaston's help you plan your next getaway on the White River. 870-431-5202. That's 870-431-5202. Or learn more at Gastons.com. Gaston's, a first-class time, every time.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything, service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Except we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Burton Pools and Spas. Trusted pool experts and your source for backyard fun. Locations in Fort Smith, Springdale, and always online at burtonpools.com.
You know, I was reading an interesting article from Trey Brady of Hawk Sports. Tommy, did you know that Sam Pittman's tied for the third highest, longest tenured coach in the Southeastern Conference? I read that and I was like, man, that's the other 2 are above him. He's tied with 2, and he's got 2 above him. See if you can do that off the top of your head.
Running through the roster in my head real quick. Mark Stoops is one of them.
Correct.
I I don't think Brian Kelly, he'd be less. Lane Kiffin?
Nope. The same year. Drinkowitz, Kiffin, and unfortunately.
Okay.
What is it, Big C?
Is it Kirby?
That's Kirby. That's correct. The only two coaches that have been tenured longer. Kirby and Drink came in the same year as Sam, obviously with, unfortunately, the late Mike Leach. But I saw that, and then you just started going through your list. No more Ed Ogeron, no more Nick Saban, of course, and you just kind of go one by one by one. And it's like, yep, that's right. That just shows the turnover within not just the SEC, but college football coaches.
What if that slows down now with Saban out of the league? Yeah, because Kirby's at 9 seasons. Mark Stoops is at 12 or whatever that is. So, yeah.
He took over for, Joker Phillips in 2013?
Yeah, so Mark Stoops is the most tenured coach. Kirby would be 2. Yeah.
That is, that you bring up the cycle of coaches, and we've seen it. I don't think that Saban beating Houston Nutt in 2007 in a great game in Tuscaloosa decided his fate. That seemed predetermined, predestined, honestly. But for Tommy Tuberville at Auburn, Auburn won 6 straight, and it
didn't matter.
It changed immediately.
Yep.
And you look at other coaches, like Les Miles, for example, who got over the Saban hump early on in his career and then couldn't figure out the formula late.
Mm-hmm.
There have been numerous...
But even coaches like Gus Malzahn, who did figure it out.
Beat him 3 times?
2 of 3 or whatever at the end. Still, he didn't live up to the standard on the other side of the stage.
Yeah, that's why this Hugh Freeze dynamic is going to be interesting. He beat him twice in Oxford, should have been 3 times. We're curious to see when Auburn gets that first win again. Oh, I guess I said first win. First win against Alabama, I should say.
And Auburn expects to beat Alabama more now that Saban's gone.
Yes, there is they played Georgia and Bama tough last year. Didn't get the win for either of those in those categories. But I just thought that was interesting. Also, I was kind of curious. You asked Connor Nolan a good question yesterday because we hear the old adage, well, the SEC is just like playing double-A ball. Well, a guy that's playing in the minors right now that's been the last couple of years, here was the equivalent of what he said SEC baseball was like in the minor leagues.
I think it's really similar. I think it's more like high A baseball. Obviously there's 2 or 3 really good guys in the lineup in the SEC that can, put the ball out of the park, and that's what you're really worried about. It's them creating damage. Double A was a little bit different because everybody in the lineup can hurt you. There's pop all throughout the lineup, and you really got to tread lightly in those spots. So I think it's a mix. There's some teams that are better, some teams that are worse. So high A or double A, I think, is a good comparison.
Little different than what we usually say, but again, baseball just going up against. I really did enjoy that conversation with Connor. If you missed it, it's on hitthatline.com and always on our Hit That Line podcast network. All right, that is your SEC update this morning. It's brought to you, as always, by our friends at Bourbon Pools and Spas.
They need to clean the warehouse out and keep crews busy, and they got some stuff they've put on sale during the summer clearance sale that's going on right now at Burton Pools and Spas. Above ground pools. This is a high quality pool starting at $57 a month, and you can still swim this summer. Up to $1,000 off on in-stock Doughboy above ground pools. And if you've been thinking about an in-ground pool, they've got stunning fiberglass pool models at under $48,000. Hot tubs up to $7,300 off right now. Burton Pools and Spas, they do more than build swimming pools. They build long-term relationships. Find them in Fort Smith, Springdale, and Greenland, and online at burtonpools.com.
All right, so as we wrap up this show here on a Too Stupid Thursday, there is a Bet Online firing odds list, Tommy, out there, and I thought we would equate it to what's going on there. I feel like that we've got to include some Vince McMahon here.
Screw you! You're fired!
So those iconic scenes are always great. Billy Napier's listed.
I need to keep that on my phone so when that conversation comes up, I don't have to say it myself.
You've got an opportunity.
I get the former president and Vince McMahon. Boom.
You just click
do the work for me.
Add the GIF in there as well. We can equate it to maybe back home here at ESPN Arkansas. Napier's at 4-1, Pivot's at 5-1, Cristobal is at 6-1. In Miami, Aranda at Baylor 7-1. Let's see some notables. Ryan Day's at 12-1, which I found kind of interesting, and then Brent Venables at 33-1.
So Ryan Day, according to the odds, is more likely to get canned than Brent Venables.
Correct. Lincoln Riley's also listed at 25-1.
Interesting on Ryan Day.
And
again, who did you say was at the top? You went through him.
Billy Napier, who I think is the hottest.
Right.
That's the Florida's. Listen, it's not great here right now. I'm not going to lie to you. 4-8 last year. Things are going in the wrong direction. Hopefully, there's a quick change, quick turnaround, but it's not as bad as what's happening in Gainesville. I didn't talk to a single Gator fan last year that was happy with Billy Napier. Pre-Arkansas game, and then definitely not post-Arkansas game. But we can do this. Who's got the best odds? Like, we were actually talking about retaining jobs earlier this week. Who's got the worst odds right now to keep their jobs at ESPN Arkansas?
Well, you're probably even money. You're even money.
Even
right now.
money.
It's a 50-50 deal.
Big C, even money.
Yeah. No,
I'm
Big
not-
C.
no,
You're
you're
50. Big C.
safe.
You're 50. You actually do the work.
You're Deion Sanders.
You're like 50-1.
You're Deion Sanders 50-1. Big C. You're pretty safe. You're on the list because you're an employee, but you're safe.
Yeah.
So who's the equivalent with me? I was hoping that I would.
I just answered it.
It's just me sitting
just
alone.
you.
At the
Everybody
top
else has got
even
long
money.
odds.
You have DQ's at the very bottom of the list. She's safe, but I would think that Derek Ruskin or Zach Arns would be at least.
You and Arns may have to have a foot race to see who. When the guillotine comes out next, it may be you and Arns. So.
Oh man, let's see.
I'll have to consult with Big C. Maybe we just get them both, Big C.
Just knock them out one at a time.
Yeah.
Kill two birds with one stone. Joe and Harrison talking about Ryan Day, saying they can't lose to Michigan again. I think it's 3 straight that they lost to the Wolverines. We were talking about how important that Auburn and Alabama game is, Tommy. I mean, that game up north. That is something. I would like to take in that game in either Ann Arbor or Columbus. Not that I wouldn't want to take in the Iron Bowl as well.
And I tell you what I'd love to do this year. Texas OU, Red River rivalry, same week Arkansas is on a bye. I don't know if I can swing it, but, man, I'd love that. That's a game I really want to go to.
Go with BP. Him and Jamie will go, I bet.
Those
tickets are not cheap. He's told me what he spent on those tickets.
They're not cheap, but I want to do the fair. I want to have the time to do the fair, the whole bit. That's when, when my schedule clears up and I've got less obligations on Fridays and Saturdays in the fall, that is on my bucket list.
Well, it's a bye week, so I think you could swing that. You drive out
I've
of
got
town.
obligations on Friday night, so, the game starts at 11.
It didn't. It got moved back. That's what I was going to say. It's the 2:30, I think, now. You have time to wake up in the morning and go, but it is, again, with the ref from the night before. I don't know how excited you would be to drive 4.5 hours, and honestly, it would be more than that because of traffic. That is the most nutso from my friends and family that live in Dallas, Texas. They've had different events coinciding with not just the state fair, like you referred to, and that game, but it is not. They had TCU. That's what it was. It was TCU and SMU in Dallas the same time that game was going on as well. Tommy, imagine the traffic in downtown.
If I go, I want to do it right. Go to the fair. Have a day there. Go to the game. That's just something I want to go take in and enjoy. And who would you root for? I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, I don't know why you put yourself through that other than it's a staple of college football.
Swear Hogcat.
Who in the world would you root for?
Well, for example.
Well, you see, that's what you can't go into the bar and threaten to whip everybody. You don't walk in with a hog hat threatening, just being a jackwagon when you're surrounded, when you're behind enemy lines. You can't do that.
It was...
you wouldn't.
The Florida game. I mean, I wore Arkansas stuff after
you
we
wouldn't
stopped
go to
Gator.
the Texas OU game and start running your mouth in your Arkansas stuff.
Well, it depends
Get
on
your tail
if
kicked.
that game was following and Arkansas went over Texas. I probably would, but in that situation, probably not.
Yeah.
I've been asked to decide an allegiance between Notre Dame and Florida State, the game I'm going to in November, which will be as frigid as it gets. Of course, Zach wants me to jump on the Notre Dame. Alyssa is advocating for me to jump on Florida State and the Seminoles that weekend, but I'm honestly probably just going to be neutral.
They don't care if you root with their
Arkansas
team.
stuff.
So,
well, they've asked them. Alyssa's asked me to.
Oh, that's the difference maker. Well, if Ty will just root for my team, we might win.
Didn't say that was a difference maker. I'm just telling you what they both said. And a Notre Dame fan that I'm friends with that said as well. So like, you better wear Notre Dame gear. It's like I'm probably just gonna wear Arkansas stuff, to be honest. Taking in a neutral site game or just another game for that matter is so much fun when you don't have the ups and downs on who you care wins. It is an interesting experience. Like going to an Iowa-Wisconsin game in Madison a couple years ago was awesome because you don't have how stressed you get during the games when things are happening for or against your team. You don't have that when you just go to a normal game. It's nice. You don't want to do it every weekend, but it's nice to do it an occasional
That's why you keep low expectations. And then when bad things happen, you expect it. When great things happen, you're excited. So that way, you don't start yourself out thinking 10-2, and then when you get 7-5, which turns out to be actually a good result, you're not mad about it.
B in Clarksville says root for the meteorite when
Yeah.
talking about the Arkansas and Texas game.
No, the Texas OU.
Sorry, Texas and OU game. I apologize. That's what I meant to say. In that game,
I still can't believe they play in that old stadium, but it's tradition.
it's not a great part of town. It's not a place you want to go at night or anything,
No.
but it is a cool venue just to be there. And you got Dos Equis Pavilion right next door. I've seen Jimmy Buffett a few times. It's a cool setup. I don't know if it's KC-esque with Kaufman.
I just want to go down there and have one of them State Fair corn dogs and go to the game and because it's real hatred there. It's not fake. It's not artificial. This is real hatred.
Yeah. And as we heard Chris Del Conte say that it's the best rivalry in the SEC, don't necessarily agree with that.
Well, he's going to give a taste to A&M this year. That's real hatred too. Probably
Texas-
more so than OU.
And OU fans tailgate together, or does Texas fans act like they're too good for that? I know sometimes.
It's
more,
just like any other friend group. There's friends that went to college at both schools. I think about Arkansas fans. There's for example, Drew Sanders' family was tailgating with who's the outstanding linebacker for Alabama a couple years ago. They were tailgating together, and Z did that report before the game.
You'll
with
have
both
to narrow
families.
it down.
Yeah, they've had a lot.
outstanding linebacker. Are you talking hot?
He was a stud.
Hightower?
Will Anderson. That's what I'm thinking of. So both those families were tailgating before the game. You have kids that go to some schools, others. It's just like any other friend group. I would rather tailgate with the Oklahoma fans, not the Texas fans, if I had to narrow it down.
Texas fans will have better food.
They might. All right, that's going to do it for today here on a Too Stupid Thursday. We're back tomorrow for a Football Friday edition of the Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has had